Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think that's something that I forget about a lot, actually, because I've never been in that race myself. But it's one of the things our players really strive for.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was just going to say, one of the key things, especially with this kind of stipends, is when we really start to highlight a level of consistency with a lot of our players as well. It's not just going to every event that you can, but performing to the best that you can. And we'll start to see that as we trickle through tournaments as well with a lot of the players that we'll start to highlight or maybe see on the screen. And it's just one of those really, really cool things to watch. Players going from tournaments to tournaments, really just consistently performing well.
And even just last weekend, we crowned 3 champions in the Masters division across 3 events, and of course our juniors and seniors from each division as well. So let's take a little look back at Lille and see how all of that went.
On the 25th of October, players from every corner of the world descended onto Lille, France, ready to play with their Mega Evolutions cards, which were legal for the first time in Europe. The new Mega Trans card had meta share of with Gardevoir and Dragapult being the most popular decks. But with Lille being a truly international event, the top cut was littered with household names, like Henry Brand from Australia, Piper Lepine from Canada, Gabriel Fernandez from Brazil, and Alberto Conti from Italy. In top 16, we saw Piper battling Kim, and in the end, her End Zoroark deck was able to dismantle Kim's Gardevoir Jellicent deck. In top 8, we saw Alejandro, who had already had his best ever finish just making it here, battle former world champion Henry Brand. Henry was able to put up a masterful fight, putting up a monstrous Game 2 effort. But in the end, Alessandro's Terrabots deck was just able to go the distance. However, he couldn't rest for long, because he immediately found himself squaring off against Gdansk regional champion Alberto Conti and his Dragapult Dusknoir deck. And after some masterful multi-prize turns, Alberto was able to book himself a slot in the finals, where he would be matched against Alexander and his Dragapult Dusknoir deck, meaning no matter what happened next, Dragapult was set to win this regional championship. Unfortunately for Alberto, he was rather slow to get out of the gate, and Alexander was able to capitalise fast and quickly found himself the Lille regional champion. Who else will be etching their names in the Pokemon Hall of Fame this weekend? Only one way to find out, so let's get back to the stream.
Wow, Shay, that was immaculate. I can't believe you managed to do all of that in our small time there. Incredible. Thank you for guiding us through everything in and out of Lille.
Yeah, I was there watching it all unfold, furiously writing the script as it was all, panning out, I should say. I had to record it before we even left the venue, but we got it all wrapped up there. Really good event. And now it's interesting to sort of see the tail end now of Lille, because Lille and Gdansk are so, related, but only 1 week apart. It'd be interesting to see how it all develops.
Yeah, I was going to say how pristine it was, but then when I live on set, it's an easy go, isn't it?
Actually, truth be told, we actually packed Shay away with the equipment and got him back out again for this weekend. He literally has not left the equipment.
Sleeping on the sofa right here. You can't see it. I've been sleeping the entire time.
He's just been glued the whole time. But speaking of Lille, of course, we've got what we alluded to earlier, that interesting meta breakdown, which actually led to the end of the event, showing that Dragapult had finally overcome Gardevoir.
Yeah, but some things never change, and it was Gardevoir at the top, fully represented. Honestly, none of these decks really surprise me. Their positioning changes kind of event over event, but it seems like Gardevoir's reign before we crowned a brand new champion and a brand new archetype as champion, it felt like Gardevoir's reign was just never coming to an end. I know it did in Milwaukee for a minute, but it always just feels like the top players are always playing this consistent Gardevoir EX deck.
And yeah, it's been there for a long time now. We've known that Gardevoir has been there, and it didn't change much through gaining the Mega Gardevoir. It's still up there at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. But what did sort of impact a lot of our meta from the Mega Evolution set was that Mega Absol EX Mega Kangaskhan deck, which sort of, we say came out of nowhere, but it did pop up in Milwaukee, had a fantastic showing, and then everyone got a couple of weeks to try and figure it out. And it's still there. It is a very strong deck, but it was kind of expected to still be maybe not one of the top 6, most top 6 represented decks, but it was there in some showing, in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, and you know what? In the end, it was all about Dragapult. Double Dragons giving us that dastardly ending, but those top 8 decks actually made it there. We're really curious.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, who would have thought there'd be so much Dragapult knocking about, completely booting Gardevoir out of top 8. Another story that came out, I think, from Lille, though, was the End Zoroark almost resurgence, having two copies being represented there in top 8 by Piper Lepine and Gabriel Fernandez. Really showed how international this regional really was. And then a little sneaky Terrabots getting in there as well.
Yeah, one of the cool things about this, I mean, we're just showcasing the top 8, right? But we've already mentioned it was a top 16, but asymmetric top cut, and it was just incredible to see how the whole meta game panned out. This kind of whole mixture of various rock, paper, scissors type formats that we're getting. Dragapult, there were 5 of them in top 16, multiple sort of dark types in the top 16 as well, with the not Mega Charizard, but the Charizard EX Pidgeot, and the End Zoroark that you've already mentioned. So we're really in a really cool spot right now.
Honestly, I just want to talk about it. Gabriel Fernandez playing that Hoopa EX. We were talking about how much the Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan EX deck has declined, right? But so many people really putting in the reps and putting in the time and trying to find those direct counters. That Hoopa EX coming out, last weekend, but I don't know how many players are going to put it in their deck this weekend.
No, it had that really strange moment where it was like, oh my goodness, Hoopa, it's the answer. And then Mega Absol kind of declined a little bit. Was it that useful in the end? Is it going to stay in the decks? Is it not? This could be a dramatic change of format, even though there's been a week between, even less than a week before we crowned a champion. Like, that itself is wild. Just thinking about the lack of time that trainers have had to even achieve to get hold of cards and trade with their friends. They must have been going mad at Pokemon League this week because everyone was needing to get those techs. But you know what? I'm not done being nostalgic for last weekend. I'm sorry. Let's run it back and have a look at that finals moment.
Yeah, it was an incredible finals where we did have the Dragapult Dusknoir decks in a mirror match Alberto Conti here against Alexander Rutovic, and this was the final turn. Alexander really took a sort of dominating display in this final, and this is where it just kind of all came together. Needed that Ultra Ball for the final piece, but this time you can see the fist already ready to kind of hand over the Dragon Champion sort of badge as self-proclaimed Dragon-type leader that Alberto Conti's already mentioned online, but Alexander was the one who took the victory and earned himself that direct invitation to the World Championships in San Francisco.
Absolutely fantastic show from Alexander. You can see the joy and the graciousness that comes from his victory, overcoming what seemed like a catastrophic opponent, the self-proclaimed Dragon-type gym leader himself, and taking him down with none other than a can't beat him, join him moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well. Like, Alberto Conti is the reigning Gdansk regional champion, and then a week before getting straight to the final, so he has to be feeling rather confident. Momentum has to be on his side now. He's thinking, like, the week before the event I won last year, I made the final. I just been one more this weekend. I'm being a back-to-back champion here in Gdansk. So that's another interesting story to keep your eye on.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're gonna have a bit of a theme for this weekend of this idea because it's back-to-back weekends where we are gonna stick or twist. It wouldn't surprise me when these guys have performed so well as we do get a chance to see Alexander join the champions graphic there. Whether a lot of these players will just stick with the deck that they played last week, where they've done all that testing, and then coming into another tournament when will there be that many changes?
Or whether it's going to be the same, they're going to run it back again, especially when it comes to our 2 finalists there. Will they stick with what they know with Dragapult or change it up? When you get so close to victory, when you win with Dragapult, surely you stick with it. Or is it time to have a bit of fun because you've earned a lot of championship points, you got a lot of prizes? Do we change it up or do we stay the same? I can't wait to see what our competitors are going to bring. But speaking of competitors, we've got an EU leaderboard now already, shaping up quite nicely with some really high championship point levels already and a couple of golden tickets there, which signal they're already guaranteed to go to the World Championships.
Yeah, this is a stacked leaderboard already. And not too far into the season, but Tor Redcliffe, right at the top. Alberto Conti at second, been doing really well. Kai Wayne right. Now, I actually want to draw attention to number 6, to Emma Hagen, because towards the start of the season, she was here then everywhere, going all across the globe trotting. And I saw her do a post on social media saying, right, Lille wasn't my greatest event, but here I am. I'm going to try and skyrocket myself back up that leaderboard a bit more. She hasn't got too far to go to get herself in number first, so I'm intrigued to see how her weekend pans out.
Yeah, and just the rest of the names that we see. I mean, Drew Stevenson's had a great sort of run throughout the early parts of the season so far, so it wouldn't surprise me we're able to see Drew also again towards those upper tables at this tournament. But there's so many names there, and we can spend hours talking about every single one.
Really good. There's some real hot names up there, some real superstars in our community, some great winners that we've seen before, and they're really showing their spots and making their name known in our community. But if you don't want to miss a single minuscule micromanagement of that action, you're going to make sure that you head to Pokemon.com/broadcast, and you're going to make sure that that is bookmarked, because you're going to want to miss out on anything. You're going to be able to get all of the details of our events and how to get involved, but also how to watch from home. Don't forget to use #PlayPokemon in any of your social media interactions this weekend. Whether you're at home or whether you're here in the hall with us, please let us know what's going on. Have you done a fun cosplay? Have you seen a fun cosplay? Have your pets been involved? Have they been sitting on your lap the whole time? Is your cat the next top Gardevoir player? Who knows what could be going on? But make sure that #PlayPokemon is used in all of it, because we don't want to miss anything, and we might be able to feature some of your communications on our stream. So I'm excited. Are you guys feeling ready?
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait.
I know for me, I'm just so ready. It's been about 5 months since I've casted, so I've been rearing to get ready to go. I went to NAIC and Worlds, and so far 3 regionals of the season. I'm like, oh man, I just love playing Pokemon, and especially now around the world, it just feels so good to just be in a hall with all of my friends. And still, once again, like everyone's been kind of alluding to, we don't know how many people have stayed on their decks. There's so many questions that we have, and that's going to be all figured out today.
That's okay. Get ready for wild comebacks, clutch plays, and celebrations that could shake those shipyard cranes. The decks are shuffled, the stage is set, we're ready, so it's time to kick off the action.
This weekend, the 2026 Regional Championships are bringing the electrifying action of the Pokemon trading card game to the global stage. Top trainers from across the world have gathered to compete for a share of over $125,000 in cash prizes, travel rewards, and the all-important championship points that could secure their spot at Worlds 2026 in San Francisco, California. It's a 2-day battle for glory. Trainers kick off the weekend in Swiss rounds, with each match being a best-of-3 showdown. To advance to Phase 2, trainers need to rack up total match points to exceed the threshold for their division. In Phase 2, the pressure intensifies as the remaining trainers face off in more Swiss rounds to determine who advances to the top cut. After all Swiss rounds are completed, the top 8 competitors, plus up to 8 additional competitors with the same number of match points as 8th place, will advance into an asymmetrical top cut single elimination bracket. Win, and you move on. Lose, and your journey ends. Only one trainer will rise above the rest to claim the title of regional champion. Who will etch their name into the history books this weekend? And who will punch their ticket to Worlds 2026 in San Francisco? Don't miss a minute of the action. Stay tuned all weekend long to watch the battles unfold live. To stay up to date on future Play Pokemon events, visit championships.pokemon.com.
Right then, we are rolling right into round 4 because the players are ready. You know, we're joined a little bit late. They've all been shuffling their decks. We're going to get started here real soon. I'm Shea Burst, PTCG, joined by Alex Dow. How are we feeling?
Yeah,
to get the Dance Regional Championship started.
Yeah, absolutely incredible to be here. I can't wait to see all of our top players in action, all of these decks in action as well. You insinuated that we weren't ready. We were here. We were waiting. We were ready for action as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was born ready. Thank you very much when it comes to Pokemon TCG action. And I had a little sneaky peek at our round 4 feature match, and it's looking a little bit stacked. So I think we're going to get ready to head down there real soon.
Yeah, I think so. I think our players are pretty much at the desk already. But you know, this is where we get that little moment here. Those players kind of getting themselves set, ready for themselves for the next round. And here it is.
Go. So viewers, on the right we have Henry Brandt, our 2019 Pokemon TCG Masters World Champion, fresh off getting top cut here in Lille. And then on the left we have Andrew Elliott as well, both sitting on that perfect 3-0 record. And when you're trying to catapult yourself deep into a tournament, that's where you want to be, on that 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a great opportunity to continue just surging up the standings so far. We do get a chance to see Andrew's current sort of how he's been doing so far, and he's actually had a pretty good sort of, let's say, calendar year at this point. We've got quite a few sort of day 2s moving into those top 1-2 ways. Even EUIC was able to perform and do well there as well. So he's really starting to find himself in a great spot where, you know, he's facing a lot of these top players, not getting too sort of maybe sort of getting the jitters of actually facing some of them and actually being part of that crew eventually, and just trying to make himself push himself a little bit further as well, given the opportunity.
Yeah, all in that calendar year. As you say, some momentum's definitely on his side, but I know he probably want to improve one of them finishes. But here is Henry Brandt, our 2019 World Champion. As I said, Milwaukee Regional Champion. That was the one just got another from a few years ago. Lille top 8. That was only last week, everybody. And then OCIC top 8 as well back in 2019. Henry Brandt all the way from Australia, hanging around in the EU region for this back-to-back weekend, and already has a top 8. So could you imagine? That'd be a good flight home, wouldn't it? Going all the way back to Australia, having like maybe, you know, 2 top 8s or top 8 and a top 4, top 8 and a champion perhaps.
Yeah, then we do finally get a chance to have a little inkling of what decks we're going to be seeing as well. Henry looks like he might be running it back there
back
with the Dreepies and the Dracloak and the Prizes. We do see a Fighting Gong and a Soul Rock there. Looks like our players are getting ready.
So here is our fist bump. Our Swiss round 4 feature match is getting started here. Inga Dance, Andrew Elliott's going to kick us off, and he has that Lunatone in the active, and there is the Fighting Gong. And it looks like while he's concluding that Fighting Gong, where you can grab a basic Fighting Energy or basic Fire Pokemon, let's have a little rundown of that Ceruledge EX deck that he is playing. Quite a simple one, in all honesty. Get energy in the discard pile and send your opponent's active to their discard pile, because for each energy in your discard pile, that Abyssal Flames does an extra 20 damage. The game plan is simple. Use Lunatone to draw cards by discarding your fighting energy to where Abyssal Flames is dealing 300 damage upwards, and just announce that over and over and over again. Worth noting that Ceruledge now does have the Soul Rock as a little cheeky attacker. Does 70 damage for 1 energy, can be used to pick up some early 1 prize card KOs.
Yeah, it's got great synergy, just getting that additional draw power into the list as well. You know, Ceruledge has not really been at the forefront of the meta prior to Mega Evolutions coming out, but just having that extra package has really meant it's kind of usurped a lot of other sort of aggressive aggro type archetypes and become one of those which is actually able to hang around in the meta games. We do see the Soul Rock come down now, has that Cosmic Beam attack that Shea has alluded to, 70 damage, and as long as you have the Lunatone on your board state as well, you can just swing away, otherwise it does nothing. But when the majority of the board you're probably going to be facing up against on Henry's side generally has 70 HP or lower, it allows you to start just initiating a bit of a price race when you can. But this is the other important bit. Has to Ultra Ball away a Ceruledge EX, but you have to get those Charcadets down, Shea, otherwise you ain't swinging too much damage anytime soon.
Nope, you can't Cosmic Beam for the whole game, I can tell you that for free. Now, worth noting, this is a costly discard, but I think Andrew has a sneaky good supporter for this situation as he shuffles his deck. That Carmine, now it's a support card that you can use on your first turn going first. Discard your hand and draw 5. So I'm intrigued to see if he ends up playing it, because these Ceruledge decks love to just turbo. We could even see, you know, more cards to get through. Jamming Tower's going to come down. There is the Carmine. So viewers, that support you can use in your first turn going first. Andrew's not breaking the rules, don't worry. 5 new cards. Let's see what else he has there. Could even draw to the Squawkabilly Alex as well to draw a little bit more. Well, use the Lunar Cycle now though. Look, see, this is the power that's so left. Look how much cards we've seen already, Alex, so far. There's a Nest Ball being eyed up. There's a lot of energy in his hand. Could we see the Squawkabilly here, do you reckon? Or?
I mean, it just depends on what the other cards currently are he's working with. But do you need to keep bursting? Do you want to put down a Squawkabilly, which then makes it an easy target for something like those Dragapult EXs as well? But here he is. It's just another target that we're going to set up that board. He's going to be quite comfortable with that hand. A couple of energies in hand there, ready to go. I mean, I'd maybe like to see an energy attached to the active just so that you can pivot out. And if you need to swing with Soul Rock on a future turn, you can do so. Because let's face it, Henry's not going to try and put down no EXs for you to take out or 2 prizes of Pokemon. So let's just see how we do this for the moment here.
Doug is going to shuffle up the deck. Worth noting, and just play the Jet Energy to move around the active, however, that only counts as colourless. That doesn't actually help us out of any of the attack cost as well. So we are going to see the deck being shuffled. We are going to see a turn attachment to the active Charcadet, not the active Charcadet, the bench Charcadet, and now it is over to Henry. Let's see what he's working with. We're going to start the turn off immediately with that Buddy Poffin. You search your deck for any 2 Pokemon that have 70 hit points or less. And Alex, while he does that, why don't you take us through Henry's deck, Dragapult Dusknoir?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a deck we've already seen win last weekend as well. But it's a deck which does have to take a bit of a slower approach at times, but you are working with a lot of single prizes to begin with. You're using things like the Buddy Poffin to get those 3Ps down, and then you evolve them into the Dracloaks. So you can start recon directed, start seeing a lot of cards through your deck, and then that way you eventually burst into your Dragapult EX. With that, what we've always discussed for quite some time now, arguably one of the best attacks in the game. Phantom Dive, 200 to the active, 60 damage counters, however you like to your opponent's side of the board. Then when you combo that with things like the Cursed Blast ability, Dusknoirs and Dusclopses, you really start to really manipulate the board. And often what we see with the Dragapult EXs, especially in the hands of very top players, is how they manipulate the board in a way where they're taking multiple prizes in a single turn. And that's what we're going to keep an eye out for here. One of the first key things to try and slow the game down so that you can get into the game though is that Badoo, which has been so important. Look, it's shining its way onto the board. It's got its own nature. It doesn't even need that tool attachment like it normally does. But there we go. That's an itchy pollen, and I'm sure we're going to see quite a bit of that across the weekend as we have done in recent times as well.
Yeah, that Badoo is glistening, it is gleaming, and it's swinging for 20 damage. His Lunatone is weak to grass. Item locking, Andrew can't pick any item cards. However, we are going to see a Lunar Cycle here, and we are going to evolve bench Cerulege. Draws into the A-Spec, that Legacy energy. So let's see, Andrew would love to try and KO this. But as you say, with the energy getting attached to Cerulege, not Soul Rock, if we are going to attack this turn, we have to be Abyssal Flames. Can still maneuver out of the active. However, you don't want to use your Legacy energy just to get out of the active spot though. But it looks like if he wants to attack, that might be what we have to do. That Legacy energy, remember folks, that's an A-Spec. Don't put one of those in your deck. While it is attached to Pokemon, gives up 1 less prize card. But we're going to see Carmine here though.
Yeah, it was one of those awkward scenarios because prior to the previous hand where he actually Ultra Ball again, he had double energy in hand.
Yeah.
So he could have found a way maybe to maneuver in a point where he doesn't have to, unfortunately, potentially waste a Legacy energy. Because it is one way to kind of almost cheat the game.
Yeah,
right? You're forcing your opponent to have to take additional prizes because of the word texting on the Legacy energy.
Well, yeah,
but the other way to actually also kind of cheat the game that Cerulege has been so good at, it uses cards like Briar as well. But here we are, we do have the Cerulege EX in the active now, doing plenty enough damage to take out this Badoo. And there it is, first prize being taken of this stream here in Gdansk here. It's on Henry Brand to try and stem the flow a bit because we're going to still need to work into those Dracloaks before we even get to those Dragapult EXs, Shay.
Yeah, 100% Legacy energy did get discarded, but that's what you need to do if needs must. And it looks like he's over to Henry now. Has promoted the Latias, yes, but thanks to his ability Skyliner, we'll be able to retreat for free, get all your basic Pokemon free retreat cost. Bench Dracloak did get evolved. Nice Stretch is going to get back Badoo again. We could be winning it back. Elite Determination. It's a brand new card from that Mega Evolution set. It's really helped catapult these stage 2 decks at the top of the meta game. Shuffle your hand into your deck. If you have 6 prize cards remaining, draw 8. If you haven't, draw 6. Long-term viewers, remember Cynthia back in the day. This is strictly better than Cynthia, and it really helps these stage 2 decks, right, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably one of the most important cards that have come out of Mega Evolutions. It was the one card where a lot of people were saying that should be on your buy list if you're going to want to continue playing the Pokemon TCG. This is before, of course, we saw some other decks kind of come through the weeds, like the Mega decks that are coming. But Lily's was the most important thing because it's just so powerful, especially we know that there's so many stage 2 decks right now, and that's where we're seeing it to full effect. As we do see the first Recon Directive here as well. Yeah, first.
I think I don't actually explain why this Dragapult is so important. There's 20 stage 2 decks that love to keep the stage 1s in play as long as possible. Dragapult has that ability Recon Directive. Let's look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You can put 1 in your hand and 1 go to the bottom. So over the course of the turn, you are seeing, as we do see a counter catcher, I should say, into the Charcadet. Bear in mind, that one has a 2 retreat cost, by the way. Keep an eye on that. Yes, Recon Directive lets you see extra cards throughout your whole turn, but it also puts stuff you don't want to the bottom without discarding. So those resources will still be available once you shuffle your deck. That's why the Draglock is very important. Worth note, Alexander, who won the Little Regional Championship, he loved announcing Dragon Headbutt for 70, so we could keep an eye on that coming up at some point as well.
I think given the choice, he wouldn't have. But when needs must, right? When needs must. Right now, of course, with Henry also having that Latias EX on the board as well, he does have that Skyliner ability allowing you to free retreat with your basic Pokemon. Go straight back into Badoo, and there it is. Second itchy pollen there. As we do set up 2 Dracloaks, 1 energy each, but it's over to Andrew to continue applying pressure. Does have the fighting energy to continue Lunar Cycling.
Does have the Cerulege and a fighting energy in hand as well. We know that a couple have been discarded. It's actually quite nice to be able to see the raw copies of that. There is Cerulege Evolution, there is a fire energy as well. So things are looking okay. We are going to take 2 prize cards here. Henry's going to have to start, applying some pressure at some point. There is the Abyssal Flames. Big KO thanks to weakness as well. Not really needed, but a lot of damage. And Andrew takes 2 prize cards. However, Dragapult EX is a comeback merchant deck. It loves to come from behind. So you can activate cards like Counter Catcher and make those Ionos really stick to your opponent. It's over to Henry here. Would love to announce Phantom Dive this turn. Let's see if he can manage it.
Yeah, we'll always start with that Latias EX in the active. As Ria mentioned, Skyliner, fantastic ability. We're going to see that, I'm sure, across this weekend as well. Nest Ball kicking us off now. Can get other cards like the Pheasantipity to continue drawing, another staple in a lot of these types of decks where you just need that flip the script. You're going to try and turn the game around with that fantastic ability. Draw 3 cards if a Pokemon is knocked out in your opponent's previous turn, and then that gives you a chance to maybe draw into the key pieces you need. Does have the energy, so does have a Dracloak ready to go, and just needs a Dragapult EX Iono as well to slow the game down on Andrew's side, down to 4 for considering he's taken 2 prizes so far. And then, of course, Henry, as you already correctly mentioned, and we've always speak about so often, Recon Directors are live, so we're going to see another 4 cards as well.
We've got Flip the Script as well.
Oh, yeah,
so we're seeing a lot of cards this turn. There is Flip the Script, Pheasantipity, a backbone of the format. Then you draw 3 cards if one of your Pokemon was knocked out. Recon Directive first use as well. And we're going to need second use. But I think, actually has a Dragapult EX in hand. I think drew off the Iono as well, by the way. And now the Counter Catcher going to the bottom 5, I believe, a Dusclops. Wow, so this is interesting. The Dusclops, Curse Blast ability, you can KO itself. Sad ties, however, you can put 5 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If that's not enough, evolve into a Dusknoir. That can do 130 damage by KOing itself, meaning that Phantom Dives can really start to take some 3, 4, maybe even 5. Well, you know what we saw last weekend? A 6 prize card total. Keep an eye on that. The more Curse Blast Henry has developed, the more shenanigans he can pull out of his hat. However, we are going to see the retreat into Latias EX. There is a Phantom Dive, 200 damage into the active. Alex, where do you think this 6 damage is going on the bench?
I mean, you're going to have to start setting on the board. You know you've seen 2 Sarah Ledgers already on the field. One, I think, is still in the discard pile as well for Andrew. So maybe you start to try and spread the damage a bit. But at the same time, it's 2 Phantom Dice to be able to start spreading onto the little ones. But this is probably a little bit more the right direction here, because you're going to have to take out those big attackers. Sarah Ledger needs 15 energies in the discard pile to deal 300 plus the 30 base damage on it to actually take a 1-hit KO on a Dragon Ball EX. So that typically means this Dragon Ball EX should stick around for a little bit. So you might be able to sort of claw away a couple of attacks off, because we do see the card coming down, 2 energies more going to the discard pile now.
And the Raya as well. Keep an eye on that. We can pile it back in. Obviously, wasn't going to be useful for now. But that Raya is a card that Sarah Ledge love. Why are we rinsing, Alex? What have we?
I would have liked to have seen a fighting energy. I'm not too sure I saw one in hand there to Lunar Cycle anymore. Sometimes that decision to make, because we do get a count, it looks like 4 energies plus the Legacy. Oh, sorry, 5 energies with Legacy 5 at the moment, so it's 100 plus the 30 active. Oh, does have the Night Stretcher, so continue cycling through. Not ideal. Sometimes you have to make that decision between Palm Mining or even using Lunar Cycle first. But here it is.
Careful.
Yeah,
1, 2. And that's the third. Yeah, all good there.
Got a Vessel, so we can continue putting some more energies into the discard. Now it's just finding the right pieces, because you want to try and keep hold of those fighting energies to keep drawing your way through, and then maybe just start to try and 2-shot this Dragon Ball EX.
Worth noting, Andrew does play the Mist Energy, and that stops all effects of attacks done to the Pokemon it is attached. That will stop Phantom Dive damage. Now, do you think he's going to try and utilize that to try and protect the bench Pokemon, Alex?
You often try to where you can. It is just a one-of in his list. But the issue, the concern right here right now is he's already got 6 damage counters on that Sarah Ledger EX. When you start to maybe try and protect it and put a Mist Energy on it now, it's usually going to be a target when it's going to be counter catch it up or boss ordered up and try and start to take a multiple price knockout from Henry's side when the opportunity can present itself. So it's going to be maybe trying to protect one of the other Pokemon. It looks like he's making a decision here to the active. This is the one way to do it, because it's already taken 210 damage. This is one way to try and just prevent that a little bit. It doesn't stop Curse Blast though. It's just effects of attacks, and that's the worrying thing at the moment.
So it looks like we're going to see the Abyssal Flames being announced here. We'll get a little count up. What is that? 7 energy.
So 140 plus the 30 base, 170 damage.
170, I should say.
Good in a range to make it a 2
shot.
Yeah, there you go. It's a start.
So if you're wondering why did he put the Mist Energy on the active, it's so what the Dragon Ball decks love to do is be efficient with their damage. Oh, was that just?
Okay, just double check how much HP is remaining.
Yeah. So one thing the Dragon Ball decks love to do is be really efficient with their damage. You know, try and use a counter catcher to try and KO this Sarah Ledge while it's on the bench while attacking something else. Mist Energy will prevent that, forcing Henry to be a little bit more awkward with his damage. So it's going to kick this after Henry though. Starts off with an Ultra Ball, and it looks like could be eyeing up the Hawlucha perhaps. A flying entry. Then when you bench it, put 10 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Alex, what would that be for?
Well, let's think about this already. There's 210 damage on this Sarah Ledge. Now if we can maneuver it to the bench, flying entry when the board allows him to do so means that he can put 10 on it, and then it's actually then within range of just a Dust Blast. 60 HP remaining. So some things that you're beginning to eye up, and then at the same time, Henry does have the Dust Wire in hand as well, so can go that route to take a massive knockout here, or potentially try and maybe not even go ahead on prizes sometimes. He wants to evolve,
and then we're using Curse Blast. We are going to KO itself, KO the active Sarah Ledge, mid-turn knockout. Andrew will get to take a prize. Henry gets to take 2 prize cards here though.
Key thing is Henry stays behind in the prize race, so there are more counter catches that he still can try and utilize as well. We've already seen one. I think you mentioned one to the deck. There you go, one in hand.
Exactly.
So can still maneuver the Pokemon around and actually then force a really awkward spot. There it is. Counter catcher on the Soul Rock as well. Flying entry.
Flying entry. That Jarka there on the bench. I don't think
we go. Look at this.
Wrong for the world. Oh, what's happened there?
Counter catcher into the boss's orders. Gets the 10 damage count.
Oh, that's a move for Henry.
Puts it in fantastic range for a massive knockout. Taking out both threats on the board as well, because that Jarka there with only 70 HP. And what does that go down to, Shay?
That's going to go down to 60. Perfect mass with the Phantom Dive. What a turn from Henry Brand. Absolute maestro of the Pokemon TCG. Maneuvering around Andrew's board perfectly. Dissecting the board. And now Andrew starts his turn with a Soul Rock and a Lunatone. And Henry has 1 prize card remaining. Dragapult is done it again. And there's a concession actually from Andrew. Henry Brand takes game 1 here. Now Swiss Round 4 feature match. Doing it with an absolutely incredible turn. Chuckling to himself. He's thinking, yeah, that was on camera as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, some players may not have necessarily found a perfect line there, but he grabbed that flying entry Hawlucha, knowing his board was locked. He knew he had to take out the active to open a spot, and knew his opponent, well, he's already shown a Hawlucha, right? Well, I'm promoting a Sarah Ledge. You're going to have to find another way around it, but counter catch it into boss's orders. When you've got so many cards and pieces in your hand, it's worked perfectly, and Henry was able to demonstrate Dragapult Duskwar to absolute perfection. We get a replay here, Jay.
Yeah, here's with the replay of game 1, that early counter catcher into the Charcadet. He's trying to buy some time with the Itchy Pollen. Henry was just able to buy enough time, spreading out that energy cost, the energy, so we can get into the Phantom Dive later on. This is the first Phantom Dive. Very much, Andrew's taking 2 prize cards already, but Henry, cool as ice, knew what all I had to do, just get into this game slowly, announce Phantom Dive a couple times. That's all he had to do was announce Phantom Dive twice, but this was the monumental turn. Curse Blast into the active, KOing that, forces Andrew to promote something else. Henry said, no, I don't want that in the active, thank you very much. Bring up Soul Rock, flying entry there, 10-10, and then boss's orders back up the select. I want to hit that actually, thank you very much. And now Hawlucha's done his job, bring it back up, nice stretch out for the energy, and then we saw the Phantom Dive, and that was all she wrote for game 1. After that absolutely incredible turn there from Henry, Andrew's thinking, well, I can't win this game with Soul Rock and Lunatone, so let's go to a game 2. Ooh, 2 energy Predator prize for Andrew, and that Mist Energy for what it's worth, and Henry a GP and a Draglow. Not too bad.
Double body buff in something you want to see early on, but we were
Henry just had an attached path, I should say, with the Monkey Dory, and Andrew is off to the races.
Well, I wonder if I'm assuming here, Andrew's decided to go second. Henry hasn't been able to do too much, but you know, this is the one way sometimes if your opponent only opens a 70 HP Pokemon, but for Henry he hasn't, it means that Soul Rock's not going to be taking that down too easy. So Andrew's going to have to be setting up his board the same way he done in game 1, start applying pressure in some way to say, my board's set up here, we're going to start swinging away at some point, and we're going to ask you questions.
Exactly. Yeah, the Monkey Dory is safe, and you had that bit of GP, Soul Rock could be making quick work of this. However, that's not the case, so Andrew can set up as normal. Next board, looks like Squawk could be a card we didn't see in game 1, we're going to get shuffled up instead. There is Soul Rock.
Yeah, so core to the concept of Sarah Ledge right now. Helps combine the discard of energies so that you can sort of ramp up Abyssal Flames during the game, and of course then gives you draw power as well. There's a card in hand, so maybe that's why we haven't gone for the Squawk ability. We can see 5 cards to begin with. There's at least 3 energies already going down there alongside of Serendipity, it looks like. As we do see Earthen Vessel here, so we can keep going. We're going to see some more cards, some more fighting energy, I'm sure, is going to come out of the deck right now, and just kind of try and weave in maybe another Charcadet. He knows he's not really under threat, which is a good thing, you know. I guess the Monkey Dory could attack.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at.
But it's not taking a knockout.
No, it's not taking a knockout, but that 60 damage could be relevant if it became a Sarah Ledge at some point. So, but then I think for Henry, he's not getting energy onto your GP and such. He does play near upper energy in his as his A spec, so we are going to see
more Charcadets are coming down.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. So we have not the 80 HP one come down. Everyone's still wanting to play these 70 HP.
Then we're going for are we attacking him, and that damage will just get bounced back.
Could actually then take a knockout.
I mean, oh yeah, with the mind bend, yeah, actually, yeah.
It's all clicking, it's all coming together.
Oh, hit the Squawk ability though. We didn't get to see this in game 1. A massive fan of this card. Had that Squawk and Seize ability. If it's your first turn of the game, discard your hand, and you can get to draw 6 new cards. Absolutely fantastic ability if you're trying to turbo through your deck as fast as possible. So Andrew thinking, right, I wasn't quite happy with that hand, so let's get 6 more. Keep an eye on the energy cards. They're flying into the discard pile as well. Some more energy there. Oh, it's a lot of energy in that hand. No, Jamming Tower, 3 energy, Soul Rock, and was that a Churro perhaps?
There's a fighting energy in there, right? We can keep cycling through, and that's fine.
No, well, they didn't attack.
Yeah, but obviously a good thing to kind of keep an eye on. But Henry straight away away, putting the blue down. Does have Lily's determination. No buddy popping right now, or other Dreepies right now, which can be a little bit of a worry, but he's going to try and slow the game down with Itchy Pollen at some stage anyway. But seeing 8 cards is always going to feel absolutely fantastic, and then we'll try and work through the game from there. Because of course, Andrew hasn't been able to attack, take any knockouts, for example. We're going to have to keep an eye on how many energies are in that discard pile. We'll keep following through. But here you go, the full power of Lily's determination.
There's one as an Ultra Ball. Okay, Night Stretcher. Okay, got 2 Ultra Ball. Can't use them both.
Yep.
Is an option. We do have 1 Dreepy now, so we at bare minimum can play 1 Ultra Ball, grab 1 Dreepy, pay the 1 from hand, that's 2.
Yeah, sometimes you might have to find an awkward scenario here because it's double Ultra Ball. Will you be looking for the Latias EX and maybe try and save energy on the Monkey Dory? Because you know when you can weave in a Monkey Dory in a deck like Dragapult EX and get the energy attachment, you know it doesn't happen too often. So when you can weave in an energy and keep it on there, it's always quite important. But it looks like we're going down the route of the double Dreepies. I think he said one was in hand there, Shay, as well. He's down just now to the option of deciding, well, is the energy attachment on a Dreepy more important than keeping the energy on a Monkey Dory? I don't even know if there is an energy.
Who's going to attack the Neo upper? There's the pay energy retreat cost for the Monkey Dory. So Itchy Pollen is back online. That means Andrew can't play item cards for what it's worth. Let's see what he has in hand. There's a lot of energy.
This Lunar Cycle is going to have to go very well. It looks like he did have to discard that Ceruledge EX from that Squawk and see. Here it is, 3 cards.
See a Ceruledge ideally. Oh, but we don't have his boss's orders.
It's not there.
Via an Earthen Vessel. Oh dear. So is there a world in which you use Cosmic Beam here? Boss's orders, Dreepy of energy. Surely you pay retreat and Cosmic Beam.
Yeah, this looks and feels good. When you remove the Neo Upper Energy as an option as well, that's going to be always key here. And this is going to be the Jamming Tower. Also coming down, not something that's going to impact the game too much typically, as we do see the Soul Rock in the active spot now.
And there we go. That's a fantastic turn there. Andrew didn't get Ceruledge down, but did remove the Neo Upper and a Dreepy to take our first prize card here in game 2. Is over to Henry now. Let's have a look. I see a Counter Catcher. I see the Night Stretcher to bring back Dreepy. Counter Catcher up Lunatone. That's a chunky in the active geezer there. There's Ino. Okay, so Henry will get 6 cards, Andrew will get 5. We assume Itchy Pollen will be announced here as well. It's down an ace back here for Henry, so we'd love to see an energy attachment to a Dreepy. Yeah, this is going to be one of those awkward things because there's an energy on Soul Rock already, we can attach to the active and just retreat back in and still swing away. But it does mean that you have to waste the energy attachment onto the Lunatone for the moment. So just correctly identifying this is a way to slow down a bit of the game plan from Andrew's side. If we're keeping just Chocolate on the board, they're not big bulky EXs that have to eventually get through. As we do see the Pheasantipity flipping the script, looking to turn the story around here as well. So let's just see what further cards we've got. We finally get a Dusk Gold down at the same time. Love to see that. It's got the energy, and it's just going to be the Itchy Pollen. And then it is over to Andrew. Itchy Pollen doing 20 damage because of weakness, of course. Now, there is a Ceruledge.
So evolving the 1 damage so that it's not an easy target to a Dragapult EX Phantom Dive.
We've got energy as well. Is that another Ceruledge? 2 Ceruledge? Okay, we like that. I'm not going to take that for free. Now, do we use Lunar Cycle now?
I think that's the way he's second guessing.
I think that's safe. Well done. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just in case.
There's a Carmine. Okay, let's see what we get here. At the bare minimum, we can use Cosmic Beam. Ooh, no fighting in. No fire energy, I should say.
Still item lock, so unable to.
Yeah. So it is going to be the pay retreat into the Cosmic Beam. Soul Rock taking another prize card here. Remember, this is where Andrew was in game 1, so we can't get too ahead of ourselves here. Henry knows. Okay, this is going to have to be a time. He's checking the discard pile. Worth noting, hang on. How many 5 energy on that discard pile? Because he's priced 2, right? Took 1 out of the prizes. Keep an eye on that. Night Stretcher might be very important just to try and get those 5 energy back. It's over to Henry now, though. He's going to have to promote a Pokemon. Ooh, never got that yet. Got to be a little bit careful. It is going to be the Jackalope. And here we go. What can Henry piece together here, Alice? What do you think he's going to try out? What's his perfect turn, do you think?
I mean, this is still one of those boards where he's going to need to get that Jackalope on the bench active as well, so he can keep cycling to get those combo pieces. That's always going to be key. We do see flip the script. He already has energy and Dragapult EX in hand as well, so he can start swinging away. Has now drawn into a Dusk Glove, so 1 smaller Curse Blast is live. But right now, whether that's useful or not is to be seen. I think we're going to try and get maybe another Dusk Gold down is another option at the same time, as it looks like was that the flying entry for Lucha.
Sent to the bottom.
Of course,
it's not a Lucha's time yet, my friend. There is Luminous energy. No, 5 energy. Ooh, okay. We're doing a Dragon Headbutt.
Or we're going into another maybe Badu at this point. Maybe slow the game back even more.
We could be going Badu. We could be doing Dragon or Jet Headbutt. I should say 70.
You've been calling for this if he's got a Dragon Headbutt. I mean, you've been wanting to see more of it, Shay. Maybe this is one way to get Squawkabilly down to 90 HP. This is, again...
It's blast range.
Exactly. It's one of those things where that's why it's always scary to put down Squawkabilly in a matchup like this when your opponent can manipulate the board. But at the same time, if you get an attachment onto the Squawkabilly, you're not attaching to the Ceruledge, which means the maximum going to be doing is 70 damage next turn. So you can wait. You can take your time.
It's an interesting play. And put it down Squawkabilly against Dragapult. It's one of them. It's really scary, actually.
And then what can you do? We're obviously projecting right now. If Soul Rock comes up and attacks the Dragapult, you can get energy attachment on the Monkey Dory, and then start manipulating more damage. There it is. There's Dragon Headbutt. Your favorite attack of last weekend.
Dragon Headbutt is the Dragon. It's Jet Headbutt. Yeah, he's evolved now. He's Jet Fighter. He's going around here and everywhere. It's over to Andrew. Has got his items back for the first time in a while in this game, so let's see what he can manufacture to iron up the Lunar Cycle.
Remember, one way to just maneuver is something like Professor Churro scenario, but it is prized. That's one thing we have to remember from what we saw a little bit earlier, of course. The other way to maneuver has been those jet energies that a lot of these decks play. But again,
that doesn't count as a coloured energy.
Exactly, it's not an Abyssal Flame energy to allow him to attack. Remember, he does need 15 into the discard pile to be able to actually one-hit KO a Dragapult EX. So like we said, the Dragapult typically will stick around for a little bit longer.
Is there? Yes, it's really interesting, right? Because one way to try and combat what Henry's trying to do is put a Legacy Energy on the Squawkabilly, perhaps. But does Legacy Energy work if you get KO'd via Curse Blast?
No, it does not. It's attack for it's not
just attack. Oh, yes, so that wouldn't work either. So this Squawkabilly, looking a bit scary right now. There is Ultra Wind paid. Worth noting, getting rid of 2 fighting energy there. So
it's just ramping up, getting it ready.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision, isn't it? Because to try and ramp up Accelerate, that means you might get less Lunar Cycle, perhaps. So you have to sort of walk that tightrope of do I want to draw cards or do I want to smack with Abyssal Flames?
The one not great thing for Andrew's side right now, Henry's got a board state which is actually all over 70 HP, so can't really send up a Soul Rock with a boss's orders to take a cheeky 1 prize here. I was just
active to retreat. And what we promoting here is going to be the Soul Rock. As you say, though, we could start getting Monkey Boss's orders. Hold on.
It's not hitting something.
That resistance. It doesn't resist fighting. Okay. It goes for anyway, doesn't it? I apologise. But yeah, there is the Cosmic Beam. It's worth noting some Ceruledge lists. Have you seen it? Play the Premium Power Pros. You can actually bump up the Cosmic Beam. That's not for Andrew, as we are going to see the Cosmic Beam for 70 is over to Henry now.
There we go. Gets those abilities back, of course. Those counters there. One still actually even on the Dragapult EX has no ability, but it doesn't matter. Recon Directive. Let's see what we're getting here into the hand. What is that? That was a Luminous energy. So we do have the energy requirements needed for either Monkey Dory or the Dragapult EXs at this point, which a lot of decisions then to make because there's a Dusknoir as well.
There's a lot of options.
That's a big threat to the board state.
No, the sinister hand of Dusknoir has entered the field. Are we going to see Curse Blast? We are. Oh, Henry. There we go. It's KO. 13 damage counters. Squawkabilly. That is a mid-turn KO again. Remember, from game 1, this is exactly what Henry did. Mid-turn knockout. 2 prize cards. Turn continues. So we still have our energy attachment. We still have Counter Catcher in hand as well.
Henry's still got to be wary of ever going
Boss's
down.
orders into Lunatone, Alex. That's going to be a KO. We have Monkey Dory live. Oh, no, it's not because the damage has been removed. I
So again,
apologize.
it's setting up the board state, and knowing again, Andrew can't really get an attention on Sarah Ledge and Lunatone to be able to pivot around.
awkward, isn't it?
It's just, even if I just jet
headbutt, yeah, jet
I see the dragon, I say dragon is a headbutt. He's headbutt here, there, and everywhere, right?
Easy mistake. All birds will keep you.
Yeah, keep me honest. But there you go. Going down to 20 HP remaining means it's just like an easy target. At some stage, when I need to take a small single prize knockout, it's there, it's waiting, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
So what it says is, if you dare leave damage counters on me, my Monkey Dory's going to KO Lunatone.
Yeah, Monkey Dory, it could be a Phantom Dive, you know.
Phantom Dive.
And I can work my own board when I need to. Henry's still got 4 prizes to take. That's a guaranteed one already.
Hold on a second. Is there only one fighting energy in that deck?
Well, here we go.
Oh, no 5 in the hand. How many Night Stretch are in that deck? Hold on a second, Andrew. How much Night Stretch are there? I need to see.
We haven't seen too many get discarded. I don't
That
think.
deck's not that big. He's going to fail the search.
Surprised he didn't take it anyway.
Maybe his hand is going to discard anyway. I don't think I've seen any Night Stretch today, you know.
Well, we'll keep
Maybe
an eye
the
out.
reason why I'm worried about this, because if there's no 5 energy in the deck in the hand, Abyssal Flames will not be live unless we see some Night Stretcher action. And that would be devastating. Okay,
once
active. Okay, here's best research. Right, let's see what we see here. It's going to be a really big turn. Night Stretches would be nice, just so we can start getting this fire. I think I saw 2 Night Stretches. Okay, it's fine. Abyssal Flames still online.
I did try to tell you.
Yeah, I was worried, Alex.
I mean, certainly something to be tracking throughout,
Yeah, it is.
especially if your opponent is going to be looking to see where all his energies are, looking at the decisions your opponent's making. Sometimes that's the poker face. Sometimes you have to play. There is Night Stretch. Gone for the Sarah Ledge.
I guess you'd be thinking I might take him out of prizes. There's 2 currently there still. There is the Lunar Cycle.
You got to find those prizes first.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're not going to get no easy prize cards now, man. Just especially if you're announcing Cosmic Beam, I can tell you that for free.
I really should have been looking at this card and just double checking how many of those energies are there.
A lot.
We're starting to ramp up.
Yeah.
There's double Boss's orders.
Shuffling 2 supports, we just got back into the deck. Briar, did Briar get this card off? Is Boss available?
Not this game, but again, it's one of those cards which, again, it's got a really unique effect, right? You're going to use this card when your opponent has gone down to 2 prize cards remaining. And one of the best things about Dragon Ball, I'm self-KOing myself with stuff like the Dust Clopses and the Dust Swallows, so I'm going to put myself down to 2 for your benefit. But no, needs must. If there's ever a position maybe Henry's kind of forced himself into, and he's like, I have to do this, and hope you don't hit Briar.
I just want to draw attention. Henry is counting those energy out, so we saw the Night Stretcher getting moved. We saw the energy. Oh, there's another Night Stretcher.
He's grabbing a fire energy surely to get that. Oh, no, he's got Legacy in hand, so.
Oh, scrap him.
Yeah,
Just has Legacy energy now to Abyssal Flames.
No,
Until we
he's
start
got
taking prize cards.
Night Stretcher in hand.
No, he played them both this time. One was for Solar Ledge, one was for
There
Feather.
was one more.
Was it? Whoa, okay, and the pass. So we're not going to use any Soul Walk action.
I mean, I quite like
I don't mind it, yeah.
Because
There's
it's every board, especially if I can get the 15 into the discard. Anyway, saying that if you want to take some prizes here, Henry, I'm going to start swinging away and I'll have some draw power on the board state as well. I'm sure we'll keep an eye on exactly how many energies on there as well. It's one of those things that...
Can't count that.
You know, we used to have our Lost Zone counter, remember? Maybe we need to start thinking about it there.
6, 9, 12, 14.
So one
more, and Abyssal Flames is 1 hit KOing Dragapult EX. Oh,
so
my goodness.
Henry's going to have to start setting up the board where he's got double sort of ready to go. That's one thing that Andrew can't really do, is actually take out 2 of them in one turn.
No.
But this is where Henry's going to play out his hand. He's got that wonderful inclusion of the Hilda as well, such a deck for any evolution Pokemon and an energy card. And that's any energy card, which has always been so important, especially when we start to see things like the Neo Upper comes into the deck as well. But it looks like here he's just deliberating exactly the route he's going to take here. Dragapult currently in the front of the deck search. He's going to go for that Dusclops and the Luminous energy as well. You know, you can prep that's one of the attackers because right now they both have a basic energy on them. That's a preview. So he does need to get that attachment to one of the Pokemon.
Injury. Oh, there. 10 damage. You know, 10 damage brings Present Dipsy into range of Phantom Dive to keep our counter catcher. It's been eyed up as well. Going to bring that into the active. Some more multi-prize shenanigans I think is happening this turn. Alex, we can't take all 4 this turn, I think. Right? We're not all 4 gaming, are we?
We can go down to 1 remaining, and then there's just a Solrock that's waiting. Because you can sort of put the damage counters on it, and unless it gets lifted off with Professor Churro scenario, it's always going to be on a target for a future turn.
So what you're saying is if Henry can announce Phantom Dive twice, he wins this game pretty much.
Potentially here, and this is where you've got to make that decision to evolve that Dracula, because I guess with Andrew's board or Andrew's deck, typically you do not disrupt your opponent's hand.
No.
So then that way you can play as you want to. Really.
I think it's just going to be Phantom Dive into the active KO there. It looks like Lunatone is getting sent to the discard pile, so I think we have 2 damage counters left to play with. 4, I should say, it was 2 to KO Lunatone, I apologise. And it looks like going to be on that Sarah Ledge for it as well, and a little bit on that one as well.
So
and
he's prepped, I think he took Dusclops to hand as well.
Yep,
so that will be
in hand,
3 prizes to be taken by Henry, as we do see it now coming to his hand there. And I mean, you'd have to imagine Andrew's going to be taking a knockout here, so Henry won't then be able to use Dusclops either, because both players will be down to 1 prize. And then it's just going to be down to Henry to actually take this final prize here, because the Legacy energy is a little bit less useful now, because that's reducing it to 1 prize, but that's not the biggest problem in this moment here. As we do now see, I think this is going to be the first time we're going to see a massive knockout on a Stage 2 EX Pokemon.
First time we see Abyssal Flames this game. Game 2.
No, we saw it against the dudes, but these were over KO.
No, this exactly game 2. Game 2. Sorry, game 1. Game 2. It's Pocket Beam. Oh, Solrock's been getting involved. Lightning Gong going to conclude, but yeah, I think we've got your hand disrupt. If Henry can just announce Phantom Dive, the Solrock on the bench is
the biggest target.
The biggest target, yeah.
There's a Boss's orders available in Henry's list.
Oh,
he does play 3 copies of those.
I think it's the prize cards actually, right?
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
There's one in the prize cards.
So Henry's there, sitting with it, pretty much ready. I know
There he gets for Lars. I saw it at the back. Yeah, but there's a big Abyssal Flames. I think, no, goodness gracious, that's a big knockout. That Dragapult gets sent to discard pile. But Henry Brand, do we have energy? Do we have Dragapult? Do we have Boss's orders? They are the questions for Henry to answer. If he does, he wins this game this turn. If he doesn't, then Andrew will win 1 prize card apiece. Pheasantipity is like Ultra Ball Counter Catcher. Counter Catcher's not live right now. Hilda, I should say. Oh, we have 1 use of Recon Directive.
Doesn't remember.
Surely it has it in
the Neo Up already went down.
It has.
Monkeys actually had 2 Luminous attached.
I didn't see a Shock Engine right there. Is it one in hand? Oh, Luminous?
That's what we're looking for.
Hold on. Keep an eye out for Odovis. Oh, Blood Moon to Luna. That gets there as well. Boss's orders. Blood Moon attacks for 0 energy. And Henry Brand takes game 2 here in our Gdansk round 4 feature match. Fresh off his top 8 placement in Lille. Going to that perfect 4-0 record, trying to advance his way into phase 2 and beyond.
Yeah, I think you just saw when we came back to the screen of Henry, he had a big sigh of relief that he had the pieces still remaining in the deck. Blood Moon to Luna, a fantastic inclusion. We do get to see replay of the whole game though. This game 1 Shay. You know, Henry just kind of was able to set up behind the Badu, just keep locking things out, but start putting quite relevant 10 damage from the Itchy Pollens pretty much around the board before finally sort of maneuvering into an attacker, set up a couple of Sarah Ledge EXs, and then we're about to see probably one cool thing of the deck where you're actually taking massive amounts of knockouts, taking out all the threats here with the Dustwars, Curse Blast on the active. We see this really cool play here, Counter Catcher onto the Solrock, flying Entry Horlucha, putting the 10 on the Sarah Ledge, and then just bringing it straight back up. Like you can maneuver it wherever you want. It's coming straight back to the active for me to smack it again.
Love the Henry Brand playing musical chairs of Andrew's active dead. I want this. No, bring that back. Thank you very much. Now put that in the active. Thank you. So I can take these 3 prize cards that I want and basically say, you're a Sarah Ledge deck playing without Sarah Ledge or Charcadet, scoop them up. Let's go to game 2, please. And that's exactly what Andrew had to do. Now, this game 2 was a little bit more interesting. I feel like game 1 was a very textbook Dragapult, game. This game 2, Alex, had a few more hurdles to jump over, I feel.
Yeah, one of those cool things that we saw, and I know you've mentioned it multiple times, Jet's Headbutt was utilised to just put some damage counters on Andrew's side of the board. We saw the Squawk ability there get 70, and then the Curse Blast from the Dustwire again coming into full effect, allowing Henry to take 2 prizes just from Squawk ability. The boss's orders to then, again, just cause Andrew have awkward scenarios with energy attachments, just putting the damage counters again on the board, saying, when I want to, I will take these prizes. And then when you're feeding me a Pheasantipity as well, that's always a scary moment for Andrew, because you're going to be losing 2 prizes at least. And there it is, Henry's putting himself down to 1 prize when he finally announced Phantom Dive, and he was just double checking all those pieces, found that Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, a fantastic card that just kind of goes into so many different decks with that season skill ability, and is able to take a very easy knockout, especially with no energy attachments because your opponent's taking 5 prizes.
Yeah, what's better than 240 damage for 5 damage? How about 240 damage for 0 coming in the clutch there? And yeah, it was just quite, honestly, when you're playing against like Dragapult, if you happen to put down Pheasantipity, you're in an uphill struggle. But 160 hit point, 2 prizes Pokemon, I bet that Sunshine. And then the Pheasantipity as well, just a little flying entry, into the active, 2 prizes. And you sort of fed Henry 4, quote-unquote, 3 prize cards there, and that's what Henry needed to close that game out.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes you need to, right? You're trying to set up the board in a way that you know your opponent's going to be taking some prizes. So I'm going to need to try and utilize the Pheasantipity so I can draw and see more cards. You're already seeing loads from Lunatone and Solrock, but this is the deck to beat right now. This is the most recent regional champion winning deck. It was the most recent double finalist deck that we've actually just seen. And we've also got a pretty cool, in the bottom left, in this current party season, just kind of seeing the current sort of meta share. It has kind of that win rate of sort of sub 50%, but it's been in check because of one other big dog in the meta right now. Gardevoir has always been one of those sort of slightly worse or bad matchups because it's had inclusions like Clefairy EX, as we do see here, but it has a fantastic core strategy, has fantastic built-in draw power, has fantastic synergy with Dustwire as well, and there's just so much going for it. It's definitely a deck to continue watching out for this tournament.
Yeah, it's a scary deck. You really can't. It always happens. I know viewers go to local league or play on TTG Live. It always happens against a Dragapult deck. You go 2 prize cards, you go 3 prize cards. You're like, I got this. Like, what are they going to do? And it's like, oh no, kind of catch a Curse Blast, Halucha. This time I'm like, oh where's my board state gone? I'm left with nothing, and my opponent's just getting very like, I'm going to announce Phantom Dive again, and you're going to be in trouble. And it's really interesting. So, Dragapult, I think like coming off the back of Worlds, always the bridesmaid, get 2nd place a lot. But then Lil just said, right, this is my event. Before we even conclude the final, we knew Dragapult was going to be the victor. And here, as we do see a lot of, at least Henry, who did make top 8 with that deck as well, saying still good. Could it be Dragapult something else?
I mean, it was 1 of 5 in the asymmetric top cut last week, which is an incredible sort of, conversion into day 2 and then conversion into the top cut as well. So it's like fantastic to see just how strong that archetype is. And I guess it's where I've kind of spoken about it, the kind of rock, paper, scissors format. It's not quite rock, paper, scissors. We actually have like multiple rock, paper, scissors going on at the same time at the moment. But when Gardevoir's kind of on the slight downward trend, we know it's a heavily played deck, but there's other counters to that. And then what counters the Gardevoir is Dragapult. So it's just kind of sneaking in the shadows, and then it really does super well. And that's what, again, in the hands of like fantastic players, it's just, it wouldn't surprise me to see someone like Henry Brand make back-to-back sort of asymmetrical top cards, or top cards, I should say. But at the same time, both players are doing super well, right? Henry's been 4-0, Andrew's still on a 3-1 record, still a fantastic spot to be in. Remember, you need those 16 match points to make it into phase 2 of the tournament, of the competition as well, to even try and maybe push yourself even further. They've been there before, so we'll see if Andrew can continue making it, but he's still in a great spot.
I mean, Andrew did the thing you want to do against Dragapult. It's just one hit KO. A little bit on the slower side as he would prefer, but if you think of that, 2 turns earlier, different ballgame, quite honestly. And we had to play, Henry was musical chairs in him again, so we had to spend turn attachments to retreat inside the Solrock. If he was announcing Abyssal Flames a little bit earlier, that could have been a very different game. So it's a deck that has a lot of representation, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it sort of catapult itself through as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's probably enough hearing from us about the actual deck and the actual gameplay as well. We have Henry ready for an interview to actually kind of dive into it a little bit more.
Thank you, Shay and Alex. I'm Emily here, joined in the lounge by our last round's winner, Henry Brand here.
Hello.
Still doing well. Congratulations on your performance last weekend in Wheel. But now you're here in Gdansk running the same deck. Have you changed any cards in your deck?
Well, funnily enough, for those watching home, no, I haven't. I've changed no cards. I'm actually proud of myself for this because I always give this advice to like other players to like stick with what you know and that your deck choice doesn't actually matter. And like really, it doesn't compare to your play. Like it's 90-10. So I'm really glad that I took my own advice and just played the same thing. Especially when you're back-to-back tournaments, it's like really good to keep comfortable.
Absolutely. Did you have any decks in mind after your performance last week that you thought you were going to switch to, or was it just I'm just going to run it back with Dragapult?
Yeah, I mean, I built a couple fun decks that I was hoping would work, but not quite. And then I thought Gardevoir was very well positioned. I just didn't like it as much as Dragapult at the end of the day. I'm so practiced on it. I feel like your draw engine lets you make a lot of great plays, and you're never really out of the game, which is awesome.
Absolutely. And we see your just mastery with the deck, right? Seeing the boss's order and counter catcher play, switching in and out to get your right amount of damage counters onto your deck. Any advice for beginning Dragapult players when they're really trying to get that map down in their head?
Yeah, there's a few things. So kind of try and count up the total amount of damage you need. Sure. So rather than think like, oh, this needs 30 or this needs 50, like add it all up and say like, all right, I need 110, and then okay, how can I get that? Like so Clops plus 50 plus 60, cool, we're there. And so you need to try and think of the total and it makes it a bit easier. Also, that game was kind of nice to watch because I lost my Neo Upper very early.
Yes, you did.
And so the trapping was like good for damage, but it was actually really good to buy energy tempo back.
Sure.
Because like you're able to build that energy tempo back. So if you do lose the Neo Up early, try and like stall things to just build up your board again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, you were in Lille and now you're here in Gdansk. So may I ask, what have you been doing for the past week in Europe?
Well, I played a lot of Pokemon this week. I had a bit of rest. I wasn't feeling too great after Lille, so we'll see how we go today. But I'm just enjoying the sights. Of course, there is a regional back in my own home country this weekend. But if I come to Europe, I get to play 2 instead of just 1. So I think that's kind of worth it.
Yeah, honestly, what has been your just favorite part of the past 2 weeks just in general?
Yeah, I loved Paris. I think it's beautiful, like all the buildings. I've never been before, and I love museums, so I went there and I kind of visited everything. And I got to meet like Pokemon players from all different countries and go play their stores and not understand a word that anyone else is saying. And it was great. It was a really good experience.
It is rather hard. Of course, like I've also been playing in a couple regionals, and it's just you realize how many players from different countries you play over the course of one regional here in Europe.
It's amazing. And the best part, everyone knows what Phantom Dive does. Even in different languages, so I'm okay.
Absolutely. Well, Henry, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any shoutouts that you want to give before we kind of return you back to the Swiss?
No, that's all good. I mean, you can follow me on social media. I like to post a lot about Pokemon.
I love taking a walk.
Yeah, and I love taking walks and talking about Pokemon. So probably just beyond that, yeah, keep practicing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Henry. We'll throw it back to the desk.
Yeah, amazing to always hear from Henry. I mean, every time he comes to a tournament, I try and get a moment to just have a chat with him. But I want to just highlight again just how international these tournaments are. I mean, we just had a couple of different accents that we typically don't see in Europe too often in Nigeria. But it's always great to hearing about just kind of the pressure that was applied during that game too. Losing the Neo Upper energy, the mental arithmetic that Henry has to kind of play and bounce around with the numbers as well. And just kind of giving that insight, just like to get that energy tempo back. Fantastic. And hopefully that's a lot for a lot of our viewers and us to take away going forward in future tournaments or future sort of gameplays with Dragapult as well.
Yeah, super interesting just to hear him go through the line. So right, if you knew Upper goes down early, you have to trap to get ready. Like, just interesting. Like, right, that's happened. Now do this. Then we do that. And then I said always do the correct arithmetic as you said. I need to get 1 damage here. I need to play musical chairs a little bit, get him back, get the KO. And yeah, it's a true craftsman of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's incredible to watch, and wish him all the best for the rest of the tournament as well. But speaking of the rest of the tournament, we're going to make sure that you guys also can get involved, not only, of course, in the chats and using the hashtag #PlayPokemon, but making sure you guys can actually help to influence what we showcase here and guide you guys through, because that's what we're here for. Making sure you enjoy every bit of the stream and the actual experience at the same time. But we do have community choice options and predictions, or not predictions, options for our viewers as well. So I believe that should be live now. If not, it will be live as soon as possible. There it is. It is live right at the bottom. Those are the 4 decks that we've just randomly crafted up just off the top of our heads, of course. You know, Enzoroark EX is one deck that has been fantastically displayed and shown on stream multiple times last week by Philippines. Enzoroark box deck was there. Terra box was actually even piloted by our very own Emily to a phase 2 position, also in top cut. Yeah, the other two share.
Yeah, the other two. Bear in mind, this poll is on Twitch. So if you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, get your phone out, get on Twitch. On YouTube, if you're on desktop, get over to Twitch, you can have your vote. But yeah, we've got Jotty Box that you're familiar with. You did a little phase 2 finish as well. Love that. And the Mega Absol box, a deck that took over Milwaukee. That's what I never think about it. We've done a little bit of a decline. But we have chatted to James Cox earlier, you know, yesterday. He was talking about his changes and how he might, adapt the deck as a deck. We can't be too surprised to do well. So if you're watching on Twitch, get yourself into the Twitch poll now. You can vote, and whatever you vote on, hopefully we'll be able to get on for our next feature match.
Is there one that you would particularly like to see, Shay?
Interesting. I like Crash Bang Wallop decks. You know what I mean? I like to be taking prizes on turn 2, so that probably leans itself a little bit to a Terra box or a Jotty box. But quite honestly, watching Enzoroark when it's popping off is lovely.
Especially with some of the different pieces you see, though. Like I'm playing like Okidogi EX.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of one is a fantastic, lovely inclusion just to slam energies onto the board state. But also even just actually as a cornerstone out as well. So many different little pieces, and you're maneuvering the board state with the Pekkaron EX as well, and then using things like Binding Mochi to ramp up even more damage. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to look forward to. Mega Absol deck, I think it's because we're in this kind of weird cycle of trying to rebuild the deck in a way that we can actually, fit the meta. I feel like it's still finding a spot. We know it's a strong archetype. It's big basics, 300 HP, Kangaskhan, for example, and then you're swinging away and you're using things like Claw of Darkness to just wipe out your opponent's hand sometimes. People are playing things like Eerie. You would just take a couple of cards out, and then, Claw of Darkness, I'll take that one as well, thank you very much. So then that way, it's a really cool way of kind of seeing how the game interacts across the meta game right now.
If you're feeling this way inclined, Zerosic Machinations. Now you've got 3 cards. Claw of Darkness just said, wait, have that one. Thank you very much. Discard that. So yeah. Oh, looks like we have our result. Could be coming in soon. Now,
about to find out. Mega
Absol box. Maybe they want to Zerosic as well.
Yeah, I would love to see that, because it's a card that doesn't always come around. If you've got it in like control types. And I guess Mega Absol, one of those, that Claw of Darkness attack is a very control type attack.
It really is.
But I think I will stand the test in terms of just the fact that it's so different in terms of what it's got so much space. You can put so many different cards into the deck. You can fit in like an enhanced hammer. We've seen variants which is more control type. You fit in things like Crushing Hammer. I don't know if we get into that cycle going to Crushing Hammers again. That's a wild time. But yeah, it's so interesting. So we'll do our best to make sure we can put on Mega Absol box in due course as well. We'll make sure that stays in the back of our minds as we want to make sure you guys are enjoying the stream as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%. Now, if you have been playing, you've been watching, perhaps you're thinking, I'd love to get involved and try and work out how to build some decks and get involved at events. I believe we have a little something here to show you how to play the Pokemon TCG.
Hey trainers, Chipper G here. In this short video, I'm going to take you through the basics of how to play the Pokemon trading card game. The Pokemon trading card game is an exciting way to enjoy the world of Pokemon. You can play at home with friends and family, online against other trainers, or compete to earn championship points and try to be one of the very best. Players construct their own decks of exactly 60 cards to play with. Most trainers play in the standard format, which only allows for cards with the newest regulation marks to be used. You can only have up to 4 copies of a single card in your deck, with the exception of Basic Energy. There are 3 types of cards in this game: the Pokemon themselves, which you use to attack your opponent's Pokemon, trainer cards to help you support your deck's strategy, and energy cards to pay for your Pokemon's attack costs. There are 3 main types of Pokemon in this game: basic Pokemon, which can be put directly into play on your bench; stage 1 Pokemon, which can be played on top of basic Pokemon to evolve them; and stage 2 Pokemon, which evolve from stage 1 Pokemon. Check the top left corner of your card to see what stage your Pokemon is, and also what Pokemon it evolves from. Pokemon have different attacks and abilities that they can use. Most attacks require a certain amount of energy cards in order to use them. We'll go more in depth on this later. Pokemon also have HP, which lets you know how much damage that Pokemon can take before it is knocked out. There are 4 types of trainer cards you can play: supporters, items, tools, and stadiums. It's very important to include plenty of trainer cards in your deck, as they will help you to more consistently execute your strategy. There are only 2 different classifications of energy card: basic energy and special energy. You need energy in order to use a Pokemon's attack. You can attach an energy card to one of your Pokemon once during each turn. Some Pokemon require specific types of energy in order to use their attacks. Each basic energy provides 1 energy of its type, or 1 colorless energy at a time. The main areas of the game board include the active spot, the bench, the deck, the discard pile, and your prize cards. You may only have 1 Pokemon in the active spot, and this Pokemon is the only one that is able to attack. You can have up to 5 Pokemon on your bench. To start the game, flip a coin or roll a dice to determine which player will get the first turn. Then each player begins by drawing 7 cards. You must have a basic Pokemon in your hand in order to begin the game. Place your Pokemon face down in the active spot, then set out 6 prize cards to the side. Now you and your opponent can begin the game. In the Pokemon TCG, players take turns playing their cards. On your turn, the first thing you do is draw a card, and the final thing you do on your turn is announce an attack. The order in which you play cards between these 2 steps is up to you. During your turn, you may play trainer cards, attach energy, and place Pokemon on your bench. It's important to remember that the player going first is not allowed to play a support card or attack that first turn. Every time a player knocks out an opponent's Pokemon, that player adds a prize card to their hand. The first player to take all 6 prize cards wins the game. When a Pokemon is KO'd, it and all cards attached to it are sent to the discard pile. A Pokemon from the bench must immediately take its place in the active spot. If a player has no bench Pokemon to make their new active, that player loses the game regardless of how many prize cards have been taken. As mentioned earlier, players must start their turn by drawing a card. If a player has no cards remaining in their deck at the start of their turn, then that player loses the game. These are just the basics of what it takes to play the Pokemon TCG. Be sure to tune in to our Championship Series coverage, and to learn more, visit Pokemon.com/play.
Sou Gabriel e eu nasci em São Paulo. Meu Pokémon inicial seria o Pikachu. Meu Pokémon é um dos Pokémons favoritos. Eu jogo bastante com meu irmão, ele sempre me ajuda nos treinos. Competitivo, os 2 primeiros anos ali foi mais na brincadeira, aí depois mais pessoas vieram falar com a gente, dos torneios maiores, e a gente foi acabando entrando nesse lado competitivo do Pokémon City. Já fui em 3 campeonatos mundiais, em Londres, no Japão e no Havaí. Uma das memórias favoritas foi quando eu ganhei o Mundial do Japão, em Yokohama. Foi incrível lá. Porque é o maior torneio que existe no Pokémon Mundial, e no Japão, onde foi criado, é melhor ainda. A estratégia que eu usei pra esse torneio não era ser muito agressivo, meu deck é mais calmo, passivo, e esperar meu oponente começar a ação pra eu voltar e finalizar a partida. O deck que eu escolhi era o Charizard Pidgeot, ganhei o original de Joinville anteriormente ao like, então só mudei 2 cartas e vim com ele. A minha última final do Like, ano passado, foi um outro formato. Eu acho que foi uma partida bem parecida, era uma partida entre dois decks pau a pau, e veio pra quem comprou melhor. A parte da jogabilidade que eu tento melhorar sempre é o nervosismo, que minha meta é acalmar tudo, mas sempre tem aquele friozinho na barriga antes das partidas, que às vezes acaba também fazendo eu errar. Acho que é muito bom estar na final, a sensação de chegar longe. No último turno da partida, não tinha mais o que ele fazer, naquela situação do último turno, então dava pra ver que já tava o jogo na mão. Essa sensação foi incrível, sabe? Que todo o nervosismo que eu passei durante o jogo acabou, foi um alívio. A sensação de ganhar o evento é uma sensação incrível. Sim, não tem muito o que falar porque eu tô sem palavras praticamente. Olha, não podia ser melhor, né? Significa muita coisa, que por ser minha última temporada de sênior, também meu último internacional no Brasil, gostaria muito de ganhar esse torneio e acabei ganhando. Eu vejo como mais um título que vai me dar confiança pra jogar aí os próximos e conseguir mais título por aí. O conselho que eu daria pros treinadores de Pokémon é treinar bastante, que não consegue chegar numa final e ganhar sem o treino, sem um preparo bom. E também, olha de inspiração o Tord Recleve, que é um dos melhores jogadores aí, se não o melhor, do Pokémon CG e o Azul GG. Ganhar o segundo Mundial significaria muita coisa pra mim, que indo pra Master, os torneios vão ser maiores, a dificuldade aumenta. Eu acho que os outros treinadores têm que me considerar como uma ameaça, porque já vim aí de muitos títulos, ganhei os 2 internacional no Brasil, o internacional no Londres e Mundial do Japão. Eu fui bem no Havaí, então tomar cuidado.
All right, we're back at the Gdansk Regional Championships, a venue hallowed in Pokemon history, a centre of trade and commerce. And for this weekend, we have players from all over the world, Europe, Australia even, North America, Canada, and Brazil as well. And I can't wait to get our round 5 started. I'm Shea Burton, joined for the first time on European Desk, Emily Foreman. How are we feeling this morning?
Shay, I can feel it from here. Honestly, I'm going to be really honest with you. Like, there's so much energy. I am so excited. As I said on the couch a little bit earlier, I've been in Europe for quite some time playing Pokemon. I've been up and down, the United Kingdom at this point, just playing cups, challenges, getting to know so many players. And this region as a whole feels so nice to play. But of course, I've also been in NA playing those regionals over there. I was in Pittsburgh as well. So honestly, I'm just living and breathing Pokemon right now.
That's what it's all about. Living Pokemon did very well in Lille as well, right?
Yeah, my first game. I don't want to talk too much about myself. I did make my first phase 2. I haven't been playing for too long, honestly. I've been playing for about 2 years. But honestly, I think the story is that I've whipped almost every win in I've ever been in. Either with like an attached pass and then like there it goes. But I was actually finally able to win in, which was really exciting. I did it with Terra Box, and if you know anything about me, I do love an aggressive deck. So I played Miraidon EX for a long time. I played Raging Bolt EX for a really long time. I was just never able to get there. And all my friends were like, you just gotta play something with a little bit more thought sometimes. And I was like, well, you know what? This Terra Box deck with Leafeon and Flareon actually sounds really fun. It covers all these matchups. And Raging Bolt notoriously does not do well into Gardevoir, which was really kind of rampaging last year and arguably like going into the season before. It's kind of been quelled a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. And so massive congratulations to you there for Lille. Now, if players want to be trying to get themselves into phase 2, they're going to have to start doing quite well here in this phase 1. So I think let's have a little gander at who's doing well so far. This is going into last round, I believe. Christian Fontenot, that 4-0, a past regional champion. Vinny Fernandez, 4-0, Toby Clark. These are all names you should know if you're in and around the European scene. There's some other names there, Emily. Who else is jumping out you there?
Hermione from last week as well. I believe still playing the same Charizard EX deck. And we talked to Henry a little bit earlier saying, you know what, I'm just going to, it worked out last week. It's going to work out this week. I'm just going to run the same deck. I'm interested to see if he made any changes into the deck there. But still, of course, Torque Lev on the screen as well. We are still rather early, of course, in the Swiss. Anything can happen, but sure does feel good to have 4-0 right in front.
Yeah, and they're all doing a fantastic job here. If you want to get yourself in phase 2 and beyond, starting off 4-0, it's a fantastic way to go. And I always feel as if, these phase 1 day 1 scenarios, like, as soon as you can get into phase 2, that's good. But the more wins you sort of put it in the bank, it really come back out to help you in phase 2. Because we have to start trying to get into that asymmetrical top cut and beyond. Every single match point matters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, we get to that point where the fatigue could also start to be kicking in. Now, granted, there is kind of this advantage doing a double regional weekend where technically you've already acclimated yourself to the environment, right? These are really, really long days. You start at 8 a.m. I mean, I woke up at 6:45 last week to get into the venue on time. So honestly, these are really, really long days. You want to make sure you're hydrated, eating a snack, making sure that your brain is in it. You need a brain to do the things you want to with your hands.
No, 100%. Now, before we get to these events, we pick some players to watch. And we're quite lucky because we just had Lille last week and we had a star-studded lineup. A lot of times we have players coming from Lille over here. So we've actually done something a little bit, something we haven't done before. We'll keep that surprise for Emily for later. But for now, here is our EU players to watch. Kai Wainwright in the A-Special Top Cut last week. Alberto Conti also made the final. And then we've got Mateus because the Polish contingent, they're very strong. They have a core testing group, Henry Brandspark, as we saw on the stream earlier. And them boys, not only are they really good play-wise, but they cook up some decks as well. Mateus obviously made that asymmetrical top cut finish all the way back at the World Championships. So any one of these, in my opinion, would not be surprised to see them take it all home. But however, because this is such an international event, we have 3 other players to watch. Emily, talk us through them.
Well, of course, we just spoke to Henry Brands a little bit earlier. You know he's here all the way, and he even said missing his home regional in Australia to still hang out here in Europe. Of course, you have Piper Lepine making it all the way to that top 4 last week in Lille. And of course, I also chose, honestly, a community favorite. Kieran Farah had a really strong last season and still once again here doing the double weekend. Great positive forces in all 3 of these players. I'm excited to see how well they do, and especially once again, Piper. Are you playing the same 60? Have you changed things? I'd love to catch up with her now.
Yeah, I actually love watching her play in Lille. She plays so quick. That's the first thing. I love the speed that she plays at. And she plays decks and lines that's just so methodical, dissects her opponent. And quite honestly, viewers, that list of players could be like this long. You know, we had the Fernandez brothers, Gabriel just come off the top cut, finished there in Lille. He's there. Vinny's commonly doing quite well, I can see as well. So that's one thing I love about these regionals now. But back when I started playing, regionals were like, what, 100, 200 man events. Now we're in the thousands. Like, these regionals are bigger than like EUIC just gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I started playing, we were just hitting like those 1,000 marks. I was playing right after this kind of like quarantine period. So it was really just coming in, and I came in on the tail end of a season, and then I went to my first IC, and my mind was absolutely blown with how many players were here to, play some trading cards.
Yeah, it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And you know what that means? That means that you viewers are going to get some good trade, some good games, some entertainment here at the weekend, and the players get to come here and do their thing. Now, viewers, I'm going to be a little bit honest with you now.
Uh-oh, break the news.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we had our community choice, I should say, last round, right? You guys voted for Mega Absol Box. Fair enough. Good choice. However, we haven't been able to get it on. But I promise you, there's a perfect reason why. We'll get to that a little bit later. Our players are getting ready, but for now, quite down to the tables yet. So there is a reason why we haven't got it on yet, but I promise you, it's very good.
Yeah, I think we looked at the matchups and we found something that was a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
We're so used to, and honestly, our kind of meta that we've been talking about, is it Dragapult? Is it Gardevoir? Is it Dragapult? Is it Gardevoir? We're going to have neither Dragapult nor Gardevoir on the stream for the first time today. It is going to be, as I like to talk about it, and Zoroark, which we know with a little
That's good. Yeah.
Tricks kind of fitted in, but also Ethan's Typhlosion.
Oh, there we go. Ethan's Typhlosion. Now, I want to stress to you as well, we are going to do our best to try and get Mega Kangaskhan Absol on at some point. We haven't just completely disregarded your opinions, don't worry. Ethan's Typhlosion against Zoroark, we have to get that in the mix, surely.
Yeah, this one's a little bit interesting, right? Because we see Zoroark, and we are kind of thinking back to Lille, where a couple of people have actually taken out the Darmanitan line, where it allows for you to attack the bench, and especially in a single prize deck. That's actually really important, right? Being able to take out multiple prize cards here. The problem is, no ends Darmanitan. So I gotta see how we're gonna be able to kind of make sure the prize trade is at least a little bit even.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued to see how that is as well, how we're going to pan that out. Let's get down to the table and let's get this match started. And viewers, if you've watched Lille, to be fair, if you watch any big event streams, you might recognize the player on the left, Gabriel Fernandez, fresh off the asymmetrical top cut finish last weekend on the left versus Fabio Gomez on the right. And Fabio is our Ethan's Typhlosion player. But here's Gabriel, an incredible star-studded resume. Look at this, world champion, world's finalist, NIC champion, world's top 4, has won every single IC, done it in the same season, and was one best of 3 off doing it, concluding that with a second world championship just gone.
Yeah, having essentially almost a crown jewel there, right? And it's a resume you cannot deny, but it is going to be Fabio coming in here, still coming off of Utrecht last season at top 256, but who's to say that, something can't happen now, but the story writes itself.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's going to try and get a better finish than that. Had his best finish in Lille, we just saw that gone. So, thinking, okay, let's see if we can cap ourselves. But Ethan's Typhlosion is one of those decks where if you want hot, you are super hot. You know what I mean? You are KOing things left to right and centre, and it could get a little bit out of hand. And then we did, score a little bit of the magic version. There is no Enzor Manatan, so the sort of natural defense that Enzor deck player would love against a 1-5 deck is to just announce flame body cannon turn after turn after turn. That won't be an option. So it's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're not going to be able to hit all the way through to that 270 hit points. But then Gabriel does have the Monkey Dory as well, so we can see some little cheeky throwing damage counters around here.
Speaking of cheeky, that camera angle, that just revealed the ace back Gabriel. And I know you guys saw it, let's not cheat around it a little bit more. The hero's cake, the heroic Enzor. I wonder if we're going to see that coming up. But there's actually a little bit of spice for your life in Gabriel's deck. I'm going to leave that one for a little bit later. We might see a little bit of spice from Gabriel. That could come up in this match, I imagine. So, but I'll let that be a surprise until we see it. I can't remember all the secrets straight away.
Absolutely. But looking on over into Fabio's deck, the ace spec is going to be the secret box here. I know sometimes players have opted to go for a maximum belt to try and hit those higher numbers, but it is going to be the secret box here. And like I said, I'm very interested because this list that Fabio has is a straight single prize Ethan's Typhlosion list. Ethan's Typhlosion is not a partner to anything like a Charizard, for example. We are just straight playing these Ethan's Typhlosions with a couple of support Pokemon in the back, right? We have that Victini to start hitting these numbers.
A little bit of spice on Gabriel's hand. These camera angles, they're keeping us quick and honest here. Absolutely love it. As you mentioned this in the last time, Alex, there's a Erosic Machination. That is actually something, and I promise you, that wasn't even a spice. I was referring to Gabriel's list earlier. Oh, look at the reaction from Gabriel again. Oh my goodness. What have I matched here? There's the thing about the Mulligan rules, like you instantly know what your opponent is barely thinking. What am I going to do about this? Fabio, cool with the cucumber though. He's not reacting at all. Gabriel knows he's thinking, now you know these boys, Gabriel and Vinny, they test a lot. Yeah. How many of those games do you reckon against Ethan's Typhlosion?
Not too many, Shay, but I think honestly, just by the look on Gabriel's face, I don't think he's honestly too excited about this one. Once again, we bring it back to this key point. And Darmanitan is not in this deck, right? We can't go ahead and Flame Body Cannon all the way for multiple prize cards in this game. It really is just going to have to be hitting what's in front of us and then hoping that maybe Monkey Dory can pick up the slack in the back. Maybe. But still, the looks that Gabriel gave to the camera, you just know this one's going to be at least a fun one.
Well, you know what they say, a picture tells 1,000 words, and I think those expressions tell me about 10,000 words if I'm being perfectly honest. But it looks like both players are set up now. We are going to get our Swiss round 5 started soon. Gabriel is on the left, Fabio is on the right. Prize cards are coming down. Let's get a quick gander at them. Oh, Enzor times 2. Enzo Reshiram times 1. Does play 2 copies there for Fabio. Does prize the what's that one called against Dondo's? Tatsuguri is in the prizes. Forgot about that one there. I'll be honest with you. What we got there? There's the fist bump. Swiss round 5 feature. Let's get started here. Ingadance Fabio is starting us off and has led that Victini. That makes your evolution profile one do an extra 10. So, Emily, while Fabio does this buddy popping, I'm going to have a little quick explainer for the people about this Ethan's Typhlosion deck. I won't blame you, didn't know what it does.
Well, I don't blame anyone either. It was a deck that did come out of the Journey Together set. And Ethan's Typhlosion, the more Ethan's Adventure supporter cards you have in the discard, you do 60 more damage. Now, granted, Shay, you're only allowed to run 4 copies of one card in your deck, aside from energy, right? But you're maxed out to these 4 copies of Ethan's Adventure. So if you're able to get all these Ethan's Adventures into the discard, and you can play them, right? You can play them for what they're worth, or you can do something like a Ultra Ball double discard of them, and you can start stacking up your damage. But Ethan's Adventure does allow for you to grab a combination of things, right? You can grab Ethan's Pokemon and basic Fire Energy. You can only grab 3 though, but still, I mean, once again, it's a great card, and it also, you can grab from the deck with Ethan's Quilava, the ability bonded by the Journey, where once during your turn, you can go and search for that Ethan's Adventure card. So once again, the combo potential on this deck is massive.
It really is, and quite honestly, if that Ethan's Typhlosion, if you get like all 4 Ethan's Discovery and discard pile, you attach your Fire Energy, you don't care what's in your opponent's active, it's going to get discarded. And worth noting as well, you can play stuff like the Brave Bangle to boost that damage up by 30, and it plays cards like Gravity Mountain to get those stage 2s back into range. Now, bear in mind, that won't be super relevant here, so let's keep an eye on as it does get sent to the discard pile, funnily enough, off that Earthen Vessel. So the game plan for Fabio is simple. Try and get some Ethan's Quilava, get Ethan the discard pile, and start swinging with Ethan's Typhlosion. And quite honestly, it can get devastating for Gabriel if that was to happen. So Gabriel's going to try his best to end this game as fast as possible. It is over to Gabriel though. Remember, did you get the top cut finish there in Lille? And it looks like best Liberty in the active, debating on what to play. We do see there's a Erosic in hand turn 1, funnily enough. That makes your opponent discard to have 3 cards in their hand. And here is the buddy popping. So Gabriel is playing the Zoroark archetype. Zoroark has that trade ability, long-term pleasure. Remember this. Discard energy, not energy. Discard a card from your hand to draw 2 from your deck. And this attack, Night Joker for 2 dark energy. Use any one of your Ends Pokemon's attacks as this attack. Now the only other Ends Pokemon Gabriel is playing is that Reshiram that you see there. Powerful Rage basically reads, I do twice as much damage to you as on myself. So if I have 100 damage on the Zoroark, you attack you 200 back. Virtuous Flame for 4 energy or 2 Night Joker just as a flat 170. So Gabriel's game plan is simple. Get the Zoroark out, draw a ton of cards, and then keep announcing Virtuous Flame or Powerful Rage over and over again. Now there's a little bit of spice in the Petulant EX. You use subjugate and change to poison your Pokemon, and then you can use cards like Binding Mochi to actually boost your damage up a little bit. But yeah, there's some other little interesting things that I don't think Gabriel was playing in Lille. Such as Janine's Secret Art, Emily.
Yeah, this one's very interesting, where you can choose up to 2 of your dark Pokemon, and for each of them you can search a basic dark energy out of the deck and attach it to that Pokemon. You shuffle, of course, but if you attach to your active Pokemon, it's now poison. So you were talking about a little bit earlier, Shay, that Binding Mochi tool that we had, right? So a nice way to get yourself poisoned. You have a couple of outs to it, right? You have the Petulant EX to bring yourself into the active, getting out of something like a Corner Trap if it was applicable here, or a counter by Yveltal. But still, we have a ton of ways to kind of modify this damage and hit what we need to hit. Now, granted, once again, this would be really important into some of these big stage 2 decks like Dragapult EX, but once again, we have to be mindful. I mean, Virtuous Flame is going to be able to hit Typhlosion, but still, look at the Cyrano coming down for the turn.
Now, I wonder, is this where Gabriel's going to reveal the spice I was alluding to earlier? No, it's going to get the 2 Enzoroark and the Petulant. Remember, there's actually 2 Enzoroark in the prize cards as well, so that's not super ideal. But the Siren letting you grab 3 EX Pokemon. Now, I think the reason Gabriel is playing the Janine Secret Art is actually playing, I'll reveal it now, a Mega Absol EX. He wasn't playing this in Lille. Mega Absol EX. Obviously, we know this one Claw of Darts with 300 to 200 damage, you can discard a card from your opponent's hand. Now, I wonder, if you're squaring off against a stage 2 deck, Emily, do you think a Zerosic plus Claw of Darkness, or even a Claw of Darkness on its own, would that be a route you try and weave in, or?
I mean, of course, right? We want to limit as many options as possible here. Fabio is playing a deck where it does, and it can require a couple combo pieces, especially if you already have that Ethan's Adventure in hand, you don't really have anything else, right? If you can't safely grab your Quilava to grab another Ethan's Adventure, the combos are going to kind of hurt here. So I'm interested to see how Gabriel's going to weave in the Mega Absol EX as well, just because once again, we have ways to power it up where we're going to be able to hit for higher than just 200, right? That could be really good onto one of our Terra Ogre Pawns in format as well. But so far, so good. This is a great turn from Gabriel. Pretty set up here. I don't see the out just yet to our Ends Reshiram here, but honestly, we get the energy attached. We already have the 2 Zoruas down, and we're just going to pass. Honestly, Shay, I don't think we need to do anything else.
Well, we are going to see the evolution into the Quilava. Bonded by the Journey activation. Grab an Ethan's Adventure from your deck. And with this turn attachment to the active from Gabriel, I wonder if he's going to try and eye up some cool arrow. Perhaps he just managed to get out of the active. We'll keep an eye on that later. But for now, Ethan's Adventure is going to enter the hand, the backbone, the engine, and the damage modifier of this deck. When you play it, you search your deck for any 3 in combination of Ethan's Pokemon and basic fire energy cards. And that means you can, this is really good, because not only do you get used for playing this card, but every time you do play it, your damage gets real ramped up, as we are going to see that conclude for Ethan Cyndaquil, the Quilava, and another Cyndaquil as well. And here comes the second Bonded by the Journey. So that means we've got one in the discard pile, one in the hand. This could start to get out of hand real fast.
Absolutely. And the thing is, Fabio knows that there's no direct attackers that Gabriel can copy right now, so it's not necessarily the worst thing. We are going to have 4 Cyndaquil down on the bench as well, so we're starting to already get set up here. And another thing to point out here too, Fabio is not playing another 2-prize Pokemon, right? No Pheasantipity in here, no Mew. It is just straight single prize attackers. So I'm interested to see how he's going to be able to handle it, especially because it's just a pass back. But look, we already have 2 Quilavas on the board, Shay.
Yeah, with energy as well. There's the Enzora Evolution on the bench. Serrano, that was a buy trade, not being played. To discard that, draw 2. There's the other Enzora weapon, and he had 2 available to him. So they're now both in play. There's the trade. Get rid of Zerosic Machination, so that will not be a factor in this game unless we start seeing some power pad action to shuffle it back in. But it looks like we've got a turn attack, got supporter still. I'm not really sure what we're... Oh, does it play NPP up? Does not. No. It looks like Janine Secret Art is the only way to accelerate energy.
Well, I like where you were going a little bit earlier, Shay, where Pheasantipity is technically a dark type. We could accelerate to the active and use Secret, or we could use Cruel Arrow to go on ahead and get rid of something on the bench, right? Especially with this energy, right?
Oh, there it is.
And that's the line that is going to be taken here. Pheasantipity will get poisoned, but it is definitely enough to get one of these Quilavas down, or even one of the Cyndaquils. But honestly, Gabriel is going to play this turn, but it's such a weird prize line now at this point, where yes, you can absolutely hit with this Pheasantipity here. But once again, if you're not taking a Quilava this turn, we're going to start seeing the kind of mastermind of this deck, right? We're going to grab at least 2 more Ethan's Adventures next turn, and we're going to start to be able to hit for those big numbers, especially if we see that Brave Bengal modifier.
And it's worth noting, Gabriel does play a copy of Shaman, opted not to get it down, so this Quilava can access the bench with, there's a Petulant as well, so that's going to get rid of the poison, so there will be no cheeky poison damage being used there. Love that. Subject getting changed in case you must know switch the dark Pokemon into the active from your bench, and then the Yveltal has free retreat cost, that's how you can get the Pheasantipity right back there. So now with the support being used, Petulant being used, turn attachment and a retreat, and if there's a terrible amount we can do this turn, so I'm debating on whether to bench an Enzora. Remember, 2 Enzora are prize, but there is the Cruel Arrow, 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, going to KO Quilava. That's our first prize card taken here, our Swiss round 5 is over to Fabio.
This one's going to be interesting though, as we did see the draw for turn. We do have a Quilava down. I do believe, and just according to the prizes, we do have access to all of our Ethan's Adventures. And there it is, the one that we grabbed from last turn here, to start grabbing potentially another Quilava so we can grab that final piece. It all matters is if we have the Ultra Ball in hand, right? If we have the Ultra Ball in hand, we can attach to the Victini, bring it back to the bench, and bring our Ethan's Typhlosion active, and then we will definitely be hitting for at least 240 without a Brave Bengal modifier here. But that's going to be the first 2 big prizes for Fabio coming down here. But as you can see, we're prioritizing the energy as well. And here we go, 2 more Quilavas coming to the bench here. And this is what we're going back to, Shay, right? Ethan's Typhlosion, when it hits the right matchup, you are able to stack for these huge amounts of numbers. But if your deck is not playing a kind of combo piece where you can at least get both 2 Cyndaquils down in a turn, this prize trade is not your friend.
It's really not. This is Poetry in Motion right here. We're going to get 4, well, potentially we get 4 in the discard pile here. And that just means we are just announcing Body Blast, turn over turn. Now, here's an Arsenal. You have to be a little bit careful here, because Gabriel does play Clutch Yveltal. These Victini only do 30 damage for 2 energy, so we have to keep an eye on those. But they are, reason there's that victory cheer ability, your fire type evolution Pokemon do an extra 10. So right now, Body Blast doing an extra 20 before you even consider looking at the Ethan's in the discard pile. But I'm going to see a turn attachment retreat, I should say. And then we are going to see the evolution as well. There's the Brave Bengal, an extra 30 hitting into an EX. Was that not supported hand? Oh, we don't need it though. We're going to take the big Body Blast KO. Wow. Ethan's Typhlosion is off to the races. 2 prize cards taken. Now, Gabriel, what can you do? We'll use Artisan first.
Yeah, we're definitely going to use Artisan first to grab the Monkey Dory, but you alluded to a play a little bit earlier, Shay, that I really like, right? I think I saw Gabriel's hand, a counter catcher, and you brought up the fact that these Victinis, well, yes, they help your damage. They don't really do much in terms of an attack here. No. So honestly, Fabio was actually better off by just playing down the 4 Cyndaquil and then saying, hey, I have 5 energy in my entire deck. Every single thing that you bring up is an attacker, but we can absolutely go for a clutch play with this Yveltal, and now starting to see the lines come together here. But still has to play supporter for turn at some point. But another big thing is we're barely going to see this Mega Absol. But like we said, and like we were talking about, right, it is definitely going to be the clutch play here, maybe even seeing the energy switch from the Zoroark onto the bench so we can at least get that damage down here. And I'm just looking right now. I don't believe we play a way to get this Victini out, so we might just be stuck here.
Yeah, so viewers, this is the problem. Clutch for 1 energy to 20 damage, as Gabriel is going to play in Lilies. Yeah, the 20 damage, but it's got your opponent retreating. Now, what's really devastating about this is that the Victini, first of all, it doesn't private itself up with its ability, so it's only going to do 30 damage back. That sounds good, right? You'll eventually get to your Yveltal. No, you won't, because Gabriel plays that Monkey Dory. Adrenabrain moves 30 damage from your Pokemon onto your opponent. So in theory, if Fabio was to keep announcing, was it Flare, I think, on Victini into Yveltal, Gabriel can move that 30 off and then just place it wherever he wants. So unless Fabio can sort of maneuver this Victini, we could get into a little bit of a stalemate where Gabriel can just slowly build his board up and then try and build up what he wants. And maybe the Mega Absol does get shuffled in off the Super Rod, so maybe, was that Fez actually?
It's the Fez, that was knocked out last turn.
Got me excited there, but there is the Fez as well.
Gotta shuffle that back in as well.
Hit the board. Does he have a nest ball or something?
I think I do see a nest ball played down. Maybe that's just a little bit out of sequence.
Just underneath, that does look like an N there, so maybe had the nest ball. Shuffling it in by the Super Rod and grab by the nest ball. Oh, picking up the Yveltal. Oh, this is what this is
like a Rude Awakening,
yeah.
right? Where it's like, and that's the problem, right? Like, you were able to knock out this 2 prize Pokemon with tons of just help from your Victinis, but now your Victinis are actually actively hurting you, right? No penny in the list, for example, to get this Victini out of play, or even just a switch. Nope, nothing here. So this Victini is probably going to stay stuck.
Oh no, we're going to see subject getting changed. Retreat first. Do we have a Mochi looking to increase damage? Oh no, just going to use Clutch. So that's 20 damage, and that Victini cannot retreat as well. So it is over to Fabio.
And yeah, without any switching cards, he's stuck with what's in his hand. And this is where if you had the perfect board state of just Ethan's Quilava, Cyndaquil, or Typhlosion, well, bring up what you want, they can all attack now. However, Gabriel has got a route to try and slow this game down and get back in. There is Ethan's Adventure number 3, hitting the discard piles. That's an 180 modifier for Ethan's Typhlosion. Remember, it's 40 plus, that's 200 damage right now. That is going to grab Ethan's Typhlosion, and then another energy. So we're going to, I mean, this is the board state you want if you're an Ethan's Typhlosion player. With an Ethan's Typhlosion in the active course, but, you know, triple Ethan's Typhlosion, oh my goodness.
Yeah, not looking too good, though, if we're on Fabio's side, right? I mean, once one Victini goes down, you can just keep saying pass back and forth, right? There's another one, technically, and still going to attack, or attached into the active here, so we could potentially start seeing those attacks here, but definitely going to be time for Gabriel to get something going as well. But I can only imagine, Shay, it is just going to be one of these, just clutch, making sure that we're protected here. We'll see how exactly it's going to go down, but I feel like I see the writing now.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, sure, we can slow the game down here. So, being used to get grab 3 X's from your deck, put them in your hand as Mega Absol. Got a nice special illustration everyone loved that. I mean, it's all well and good for Gabriel, right? But you're not really winning the game this way. So, I'm intrigued to see how. I wonder if they're doing the subject getting changed poisoning, which is so if Fabio doesn't attack, at least you start having damage to start moving off with Adrenaline Brain eventually. So, Savannah's going to conclude grabbing the 1 Mega Absol. We still have trade times 2 ready to be used here, of course. That is Buddy popping in discarded 1-2. Yeah, so what do you think the end game is here for Gabriel then, Emily? Because I mean, this is all well and good, but we're not going to win the game doing this.
I mean, once one Victini goes down, you have another one to kind of buy your time with as well. I think we did see Xerosic Machinations actually be discarded a little bit earlier. So if this had become something like a Pass War, for example, we could see something as detrimental as maybe even going all the way down to a deck out here.
You did see Adrenaline Brain being used, so to cut you off there. Onto the Ethan's Quilava. Yeah, I guess one reason actually couldn't use Xerosic Machinations because then Fabio could just discard with Ethan's, couldn't he?
I mean, that's also fair. Counterplay. Counterplay. But you can see already kind of what we were alluding to a little bit earlier. Well, yes, and Zoroark doesn't have the Enzar Manitan here. We do have alternate ways to start moving things around the board, and especially because Fabio is definitely not playing a copy of Monkey Dory and a Dark Energy or Luminous Energy in this deck here. We're going to be able to start seeing a little bit more combo pieces here.
Flare, it was just a turn. No, it only counts evolution Pokemon. It doesn't count evolution Pokemon. I know. I've tried to cook with this card before. Only 10 for each evolution Pokemon, so it doesn't count itself. Which is actually interesting. If it did count itself, that means you couldn't just Monkey Dory all the damage back, so we'd actually start progressing the board state. Unfortunately, Victory Cheer does not. So it is over to Gabriel. One Binding Mochi actually hit this card. I believe there's 2. No, that is his only copy of Binding Mochi. So keep an eye on that. It's like we are going to see the Adrenaline Brain. And this is what we're talking about. You see how we can just maneuver this damage back? That Ethan's Quilava only has 50 hit points now.
Yeah, the thing is too, right? I mean, this Victini will go down eventually, right? But Gabriel is going to end up getting what he wants, which is technically a multi-prize knockout, right? We're going to start to be able to take the Quilavas and the draw power off the board here, and then when it's time, we can bench that Enza Reshiram and starting to use its attacks to get things going here. But still, Gabriel free to kind of roam it through this deck as well. If things get a little bit scary, you noted it out a little bit earlier. We do have Professor Tauro's scenario as well. Considering playing it does go to the front of the hand, and it will be played this turn. Wondering what we're actually going to pick up here. It will be the Fez. I do like that. Just once again, we did see it go down a little bit earlier, and now once again we are back to this all kind of send the damage back type of board.
Because it is worth knowing what's board. Oh, here's the Mega Absol. This is what I'm really interested in now. Let's play the Hero's Cape. Do you Hero's Cape up the Absol? Basically, you are not one-shotting this. That is not happening, thank you very much. And I'm going to start ripping cards out of your hand now. I think, I don't know, has the time for Mega Absol been and gone? Now that the board is set up, essentially. Maybe could be trying to line up some Terminal Period plays, perhaps. But then I guess Clawthire's always one-shots anyway, but that's 2 energy, not 3. I don't know, but there is the Hero. That is a heroic Mega Absol. Look at the artwork for a second here, folks. That looks like a heroic Mega Absol, if you ask me. Giving that Mega Absol an extra 100 hit points. So that is a 380 hit point basic Pokemon. It is worth 3 prize cards, though. Keep that in mind. But it is going to be, I think we might have got a bit excited. I think we just saw the clutch. And then, was that just a pass from Fabio? Not to attack, so I'm not giving you extra Monkey Dory damage.
Interesting that you're talking about the Mega Absol, Shay, just because, well, yes, it is going to be able to go up into very, very high hit point territory. It is really important to note that the only copy of Professor Tauro's scenario in the deck has also already been used. So that Mega Absol is here, and that is worth 3 prizes, right? So at this point, Gabriel has to do whatever he can to make sure that Fabio doesn't take another prize, because he very well could lead up here. This is what we're talking about.
2 energy have been committed to that Victini. He's going to do the exact same thing on the next one. Gabriel saying, well, if you're not going to attack, well, then I'm just going to make musical chairs a little bit longer. So we're going to see the clutch. It is over to Fabio now. Oh dear, and this is what great players do. They find lines, they find the awkward matchups, and they work out how they can try and win on the fly. Here is a Nitro. I imagine I get back a basic energy. How many energy does this deck actually play?
I do see 5 in the list, and there isn't any prize. So we do have 4 currently now on the field.
1 more energy.
Right. But the question now, Shay, I want to kind of bring up here is if we don't want to knock out the Victinis,
pass, by the way,
we don't want to knock out the Victinis, right? But that leaves the energy stuck there, right? So if we start monkeying and using Adrenaline Brain to the Ethan's Typhlosion here, could we just keep the energy stacked on the wrong Pokemon?
I think that's going to be what you try and do. At least get as many prizes as you can and just try and Mega Absol at the end, perhaps. We are going to see Adrenaline Brain, though. As you can see, this Ethan's Typhlosion hasn't even hit the active spot yet. It's taken 110 damage, 60 damage away from being carried. 2 full uses of Adrenaline Brain, and thanks to the poison, Gabriel is getting damage in play regardless whether Fabio attacks or not. There was a turn attachment to that Mega Absol on the bench as well. Keep an eye on that. I do believe that is going to be involved in Gabriel's endgame at some point. Worth noting as well, there's a lot of things keeping an eye on this matchup. Gabriel's bench locked, and there is no other ends Pokemon in place. A Night Joker is not an option, so we have to keep an eye on that. The Enzarwalk are just trading and drawing cards right now.
Yeah, this one's just so interesting because you kind of can see where Gabriel is going with this game one, right? Keeping the energy on the wrong Pokemon, and then potentially going into Mega Absol when we have an opportunity to get rid of all 3 of the Typhlosions, right? If we have enough time, if Fabio doesn't realize that, honestly, it could just be let's play this to time because already our halfway point is almost here at this point, right? So if we lose this game one, we got to get to a game 2 as quickly as possible here. But I could see something along the lines of Gabriel going for something like let's stack up all of this energy onto the Typhlosions and then take them out, and then your only attackers are 2 Victinis.
Yeah, that's not going to be good. If you do see the Ultra being played there, Fabio did top deck the redeemable ticket, then you liberate some cards out of your prizes if your prize those even eventually. That wasn't the case this one though, and that is going to grab Tatsik Yuri from the deck. Now Fabio, if you're not liking this active lock-in, don't you dare put that Tatsik Yuri down. That's going to be the exact same situation. Keep that in hand, my son. It's getting out of there for thinning. So it's just going to be a pass. We are going to see the poison tick over. 5 damage counts on you. Worth in mind, viewers, keeping in mind, I should say, sorry. Mega Absol has 3 energy on it. There is Adrenaline Brain use again. So that's like 150, 140, sorry, on that Ethan's Typhlosion.
We're getting to that scary point, Shay, right? Where we can just keep this Victini stuck in the active and then just kind of bully the Pokemon around it. And that is kind of the masterful showing. And this is kind of what Enzarwalk has turned into, right? Kind of this weird bully deck where it says, hey, if you've expended your resources, or if you don't have resources to get yourself out of the active, guess what? You're staying here. And I can just kind of choose and pick where I want my damage to go.
Worth noting, we did see the clutch, but then we did see a boss's orders top deck from Fabio. Now, bosses, again, but with the subject getting changed, the boss actually isn't helpful. It's just going to be the pass over. Yeah, Gabriel's really got a bit of a checkmate scenario there.
Yeah.
And worth keeping 9 cards in that deck. Now, I believe Papa hasn't been played.
And he's got multiple Ionos to go.
So we're not getting deck out victories here from Fabio.
At least not now. But this is interesting, isn't it? Finally, this clutch Yveltal was really important. We see it in the Mega Absol Kangaskhan deck. For this exact reason, letting you get back in the game. A bit like how Dragapult does counter catch Itchy This is a bit like you counter catch Itchy Right, let me just, I'm going to draw 2 cards. Okay, what is there something specific he's thinking for here this turn?
Could be that Penny could be big, right? You are able to, in comparison to Professor Turo, you pick up only basic Pokemon, but you can actually keep the tool, right?
Yeah,
so
and energy as well.
Could be going into something like using the Penny to pick up Mega Absol and then maybe using Hero's Cape on something like Yveltal. It could be. That would be like my wildest line that I could think of here.
Picking up something just so you have an Ends Reshiram in play. But there is the KO. That Even Typhlosion is sat on the bench, hasn't hit the active, but it has been KO'd. Gabriel Fernandez, what, 35 minutes to just make it. Oh, here we go. Boss is always into the other Even Typhlosion. We are going to see the retreat, I think. Oh, and then that Mega Absol. Oh, he's tempting us in, Gabriel. He's going of our emotions here.
It's a good idea.
That hand is very big though. Claw of Darkness, I imagine, isn't going to be a game winner on its own. But it would KO. Even Typhlosion only has 170 hit points.
It's very important to notice.
Ooh, I've just realised if he KOs Even Typhlosion, he starts to have basic energy to attack with the other one as well. If you're Fabio. Well, I think that could be what we're debating. We are going to see the subjugating change retreat into the Mega Absol.
It's going to be pretty important as well, Shay, because we always talk about the Claw of Darkness, which of course does 200. You're able to reveal your opponent's hand, you get to discard a card. But look at the damage counters stacked up on those Victini's. We could read Absol's first attack here. If your opponent's active, has 6 damage counters on it, gets knocked out.
If you get rid of the Ethan, that actually finds the basic energy that Fabio needs, right? But then it also powers him up if you can find it by other means. There was a boss always in the hand which you can discard. Oh, this is actually really interesting. Gabriel discussing the discard pile. I'm going to go after the super. I don't mind that actually.
Fair.
Okay. So this is really scary. Ooh, this is wow.
It's so hard to say, right? Because Ethan's Typhlosion is all about how many things do I need to get into the discard and what do I need to attach onto my Pokemon in order for me to get these one-hit KOs. And something interesting once again about Penny, right, is that once Mega Absol starts taking this damage, we could just Penny it up and then go back into our Blade Yveltal clutch plays. Like there's a lot of things that we can do here, but we are going to go back into this Victini here.
Well, this is the thing. Ethan's Typhlosion, I bet Fabio hasn't got to announce Buddy Blast with 4 Ethan version in the discard pile and not take a KO, and you really don't want to be doing that for Fabio. So is the basic energy?
No.
Oh, there's no basic energy in deck.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a Rip That Super Rod discard from Gabriel quickly. Was there any Night Stretcher even? I know there's a Night Stretcher in the discard pile. How many does he play? Only plays the 1. I don't think there's any way. Oh no, Lana's Aid. Does that get back energy actually? Does that do anything with energy?
Yep,
it does. Okay, so Lana's Aid is what we're fishing for here. That can get you back, is it 3 energy from the discard pile back into your hand, and that was in deck. So there's boss. Oh, I don't mind this. I mean, it's the most awkward thing to try and remove if you want to try and remove that, but you can't subjugate and change that one. And it's going to be the pass here, not going to attack, of course. Oh, so Gabriel has no cards left in his deck right now, so we'll need to play a Power Pad on our own at the very least. But no, trying to break. Oh, take a little bit turn KO there on that Victini. Oh, wow, Gabriel, this is what a game this has been. From the Maestro from Brazil. There's the Penny going to remove that Monkey Dory. Does still get your Dreadblade again. Oh, this is going to be game Claw of Darkness. Gabriel Fernandez, the Maestro, wins that game. 0 cards left in his deck. Yveltal, Clutch, Adrenabrain, and then Claw of Darkness at the very end to snatch away game 1.
You blink and you miss the end game, right? This is what we were talking about. Keeping the Victinis on the bench long enough for the poison damage to go on ahead and give Gabriel enough time to combo in so many of these Adrenabrains, making Monkey Dory once again one of the best cards that I think we have in Standard, and for so many reasons, right? But we did get to see Mega Absol actually come into the fray here. Now it's definitely not out of Fabio's hands at all, right? I think he's realized the mistake of, hey, if I just have Quillavas and Typhlosions and that's it, we could definitely get this going here. But once again, a masterful display by Gabriel about all of these damage counters, Shay.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've also vindicated at the start, but I wonder if Absol's going to get used of Hero's Cape, and eventually we saw the end game. But as soon as that second Victini came down, I was like, oh no, I know what's going to happen. That Yveltal did exactly what it needed to do, gave Gabriel more than enough time to pick his opponent apart, and in the very end, Adrenabrain usage times 2 thanks to that Penny was enough to close the game out with that Claw of Darkness from that Mega Absol, and that's all she wrote for game 1. Now, I wonder if you're Fabio now. Surely you can't bench anything else, right?
Well, you really hope that you don't even start the Victini.
He did start the Victini and get 1 to be fair, so there was 1 already knocking about. But yeah, it's one of them where I feel as if you have been on the receiving end of the clutch Monkey Dory scenarios like that, it's really easy to walk into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Especially when Fabio's not playing a switch card. That's kind of what got him into this scenario kind of in the first place, right? Not even Professor Turo's scenario. Shay, what did you see?
Emily, he's letting Victini.
Oh no!
He had to put one down.
It's the worst case scenario, Shay. As we see prizes going down here. Well,
Hero's Cape and the Penny actually. Keep an eye on that for Gabriel, all of which we still get used massively in game 1, but it's over. Gabriel's laughing. What's in the hand? Why is he? Let's open up Buddy Puffin. Why was he laughing so? I need to consult the hand.
Well, still though, I mean, as anybody who is going to play these evolution decks, you can't ask for anything more than going first and finding your Buddy Puffin, right? That is very key to your setup here. As I said, the prize cards, well, yes, the ace spec is in the prize cards for Gabriel. It didn't really come into play last game, but now it might be a little bit more important here. We'll see how he's going to kind of fend off without even a penny in the deck as well, because maybe some of those combo pieces with Monkey Dory are unable to kind of reach us at this point here. Definitely doing the prize check, of course. It's definitely not a bad turn 1 from Gabriel, so I'm wondering what he was smiling about here.
I wonder if he was smiling that Fabio led the Victini again. Maybe Gabriel was like, oh no, Gabriel was like, oh no, yeah. So I know Gabriel has the clutch Yveltal in hand. I know that. I saw that. So. But yeah, goodness. And this is the interesting thing about Enzora. Whenever I try and play decks in this format, I try and play decks I like going first. A lot of the decks want to go second. So it was like Fabio had the choice to go first or second there. Obviously, go second still because obviously he plays like the evolution of and stuff. But then that means you're giving Gabriel his optimal going first, and it just means when you're 1 game up and then you get to do your ideal start going first or second, just makes winning games a lot easier.
Yeah. Still though, it is going to be all about what Gabriel is kind of checking for here. I don't see anything too detrimental as he is just going to take a quick look and write down some of his prize cards. Prize checking, I think, is a skill that you really got to learn when you start playing this game, right? Especially when you're playing decks with combo pieces, for example. When you're playing decks with 1-ups, for example, making sure that you have access to essentially everything that you need and knowing your lines when things aren't available is going to be kind of a big thing here. But just that's Pokemon trading card game basics, if you will.
It is, especially could be more prevalent in a weekend like this on the back-to-back where some cards have been changed. A lot of these cards wasn't in Gabriel's deck last week, so isn't used to playing as many reps with this version of the deck versus others. So you want to make sure everything you have is available. So you don't make plays like, oh, if I draw into Hero's Cape, I win this turn. And you don't draw into it, you work as prize. You're like, oh dear, that would be unfortunate. So it looks like that Buddy Puffin is going to conclude, I should say, Pentagram 2 Enzora.
I think it's also important to note, just because we haven't talked about it, this is the first time that we're actually seeing Gabriel Fernandez on a regional stream in his Masters division, I believe.
And what a campaign it's been. Got the finals in Belo Horizonte, top 8 here in Lille, and now 4-0.
Not bad.
What a start to your Masters campaign, right? There's like Yveltal, the MVP of game 1. Wasted no time getting that in play. I'll tell you that for free. I won. I just played 2 copies actually.
Yeah, you got it. It's aside from Lily's determination, which I think is one of the best best cards to come out of Mega Evolution. This Yveltal is also very good. But Jay, I don't know if you saw Fabio's hand, but I saw a plethora of Buddy Buddy Poffins.
I saw 3. Can't even conclude them all for maximum effect. Yeah, who needs versus Trolley? Yeah, just open 3 copies of Buddy Buddy Poffins. So it's going to open up there, letting you grab 2 basic Pokemon 70 hit points or less and pop them straight onto your bench. Now let's see. This will be really interesting. What does this second one grab? I want to try and keep this low key this time. Right? 2 ends Typhlosion, do your worst. 100, that's what he's going to try and do.
But the thing is, Shay, we don't have that much time left in this round, right? And
point.
the thing is, if Gabrielle, and according to our rules, if Gabrielle wins game 1, right, and we go to time and there's no finish from Fabio in this game number 2, it is going to be Gabrielle taking the set 1-0. So it is really important that we actually go as quickly as possible here, which is why we're seeing the Arven for the Technical Machine evolution, so we can get into our Kolavas as quickly as possible, so we can find those Ethan's adventures and then start discarding them as quickly as possible.
And it's worth noting the item taken was a rare candy. So Fabio really saying, we're going fast gaming here. If you try any shenanigans, I'm just going to rare candy for Typhlosion anyway. But there's the Technical Machine evolution, a backbone, a staple of this format, only involve 2 of your benched Pokemon for 1 energy and it discards itself afterwards. Now, again, this would have been fantastic. We have got a Victini there though, so as you did say, Emily, if time starts to become a factor here, if that Yveltal starts to have its talons all over this game, then the Time Wars are really going to start to have its way here. But it is over to Gabrielle now. Evolution does conclude. 2 Ethan's Quilava are currently in play. Over to Gabrielle.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm Gabrielle at this point, with Cyrano already in hand and going to be played, this is an easy pluck for 3 Zoroark EXs, and then we can start going to the store and start trading here, and as much as we want to, right? But if I'm Gabrielle, honestly, I'm going to look at the time and I'm going to play to the time, right? This Victini is already stuck in the active. We don't want to let anything else hit the active spot here, and especially if we want to, mitigate as much prize loss as possible here, we just lead with the single prize there. Once again, we've seen from last game that Fabio doesn't have an answer to this clutch.
Yeah, no, it really does. I guess even all this KO on a Quilava is also fine. What you definitely don't want to do is leave that Victini. You definitely don't want to KO the Victini, that's for sure. I think I'd rather leave the Victini in play versus KO it. So it looks like the Serrano is going to conclude 3 and Zoroark have been taken. Now you can shuffle the deck, of course, and involve all 3 of them, and you see an extra 6 cards thanks to trade. Just what a ridiculous ability when it gets holding. An extra 6 cards?
Oh, yeah.
If that was a supporter card, it discard 3 cards from your hand to draw 6. Everyone will be playing it.
Yeah, and then you stack it on with something like a Lily's Determination, and you can count how many cards you see in one turn here. But I know when at Worlds 2 years ago, when Zoroark with the ability trade was announced, I know I was in the crowd with a bunch of people just screaming hooray. They love this mechanic of trade. Discard 1, draw 2 here. We'll see how Gabrielle is going to kind of work with this turn, because I don't think he has an energy.
I was about to say, I haven't seen an energy yet. We still have 2 uses of trade to get there, though. Not yet.
No, and that's really important here, Shay.
So we can't be using Janine's Secret Art to sort of get that energy in play.
Has to evolve the final one here, too. But the problem is, Shay, if we want to get this Zoroark out of the active, we would need to attach another energy to it, which means we can't clutch. And we also just got rid of the air balloon as well. So a weird caveat here. We do have the energy, but there's Petrarunt, though. This is how we're going to be able to get into the active. I was just about to say it. Gabrielle finds the answer here.
Love that. Done well. Letting you subjugate and change your into the active, bypassing, retreat cost and all that shenanigans, and then you can do a rinse and repeat at game 1. Keep that Victini there thanks to clutch. And again, the self-poison, basically saying, if Fabio, if you don't want to task 1, get in this damage to play no matter what. Fantastic play, Emily.
Yeah, I loved it from Gabrielle. Really able to kind of weave it all together in the end, especially where this comes to a point, right, where what you're trading away is actually really important here. So will be the clutch and back on over into Fabio's turn. And thus I ask once again, Shay, what do you even do here when this Victini is going to stay here for quite some time?
Well, you can get 3 Ethan's Journey, right? That's good. There is no way to discard them. Ethan's, the ability is the Journey. Bonded by the Journey. There we go.
That is
a great ability name, to be fair. Bonded by the Journey. I'm sure, it'd be better if it was Bonded by the Journey without Victini right now. He's not part of the Journey.
The Journey, parentheses, without Victini.
Without Victini. What are you doing this, Sunshine? But yeah, so we can get 3 of those. That's great. However, there is no Ultra Ball to get rid of these, so we pluck them all from the deck. And this is where if Gabrielle also do something about playing our own, I'd be really mean, putting all back to the bottom again. It looks like 1 is going to be played though, grabbing 2 5 energy and Ethan's Typhlosion. But yeah, you're right. I mean, against anything else, this would be a monumental boss play right now. You'd be laughing. I bet if it was Fabio against anything else, turn 3, this is your boss play, but I'd love that.
Yeah.
However, we're going to see the flare this time. Okay. That's an extra 30, that does, right? 30, and the poison, that's 4. We bench shots.
No, we're not. I was just about to bring that up here, where we're going to start to see Gabrielle try to piece it together, the Monkey Dory attach and start moving the energy about and around once more. A couple of trades. The Buddy Buddy Poffin does not grab Monkey Dory a little too high here. Could use the Lily's Determination if he really wanted to here, but he could also just trade away here. But it will be the Lily's Determination, shuffling the hands back into the deck and drawing 8 cards. No, the final.
Just debating it.
Oh yeah, playing the Poffin down just to burn it because you don't want to draw back into it, and then playing the Lily's Determination here just to get a fresh 8, just because Gabrielle has not lost a prize card yet.
Yeah, one of the interesting, differentiating factors between Lily's and Ino. If that was Ino, you can leave the Buddy Buddy Poffin play, but since Lily just shuffled the deck, there is the odds you draw back into it. You mathematicians out there, you work out the odds of what's better to play in any given scenario. So just getting rid of that Buddy Buddy Poffin. 8, what's backbone supporter card here? We'd love to see Monkey Dory plus energy in combination. What are we going to see?
We still also have a trade as well, Shay, too, so we can keep going as well. See another Buddy Buddy Poffin. I'm not seeing the Monkey Dory or an out to it right now, so we have to trade.
Energy? Does this have to hit Monkey Dory plus energy?
Yeah, this is not great here. Now, granted, Gabrielle's still in a fantastic spot, but what are the 2 cards? A Watchtower, and I believe that was either Mega Absol or Pheasantipity here. Definitely not what you want to see. So honestly, the flare here, if we're unable to find something, could potentially see a knockout, but we know that Gabrielle has a couple of draws for next turn. I wouldn't be too worried, but still, definitely does not feel good when you lose your opportunity to start sending the damage back twice as hard.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Fabio gets out of this Victini somehow, right? If it gets KO'd or can even maneuver out of the active, we have to just announce Bully Blast 3 times. If I can quickly tie this game up, because there's a multitude of 2-5 Pokemon that Gabrielle has put down, right? Just Bully Blast game 3, please. So just have a little bit of maneuverability, but unfortunately, Clutch is still alive right now. Ethan's Adventure has been used. I'm going to grab 1 Ethan's Adventure and the Ethan's Typhlosion, it looks like. So that's what, 2 in the discard pile now. Still no way to discard from the hand, so it's going to be the flare. That's 90, 100. Ooh, that's going to get KO'd coming out of Gabrielle's turn, actually, thanks to that poison.
Monkey Dory? That could have been the Monkey Dory. No, it couldn't.
I just 3 trades, though.
I missed the hand. I do see a Psychic type Pokemon. It's the Monkey Dory. We just have to find the energy, Shay.
And you could Janine if you want Janine as well. Oh, no, it's not Dark Side. Monkey Dory's not Dark Side. No.
So we actually just have to find it the good old-fashioned way here. 3 trades to go 6 cards. What are the chances you miss? And honestly, we'll see. I do see Monkey Dory Dark. I don't know what Gabrielle's really looking for here.
Boss's Orders, perhaps?
Ooh, potentially, right? To keep the Victini energy over there, because he knows if he moves the damage with the Monkey Dory, that Victini gets knocked out. And here comes all of Fabio's aggression right there.
Yeah, Papa Energy Switch was the one up there. What is he?
Last trade here. We'll see what exactly is going to get pulled. I see Counter Catcher. Doesn't actually apply here. Might have to give it up.
I guess he doesn't really want the Yveltal to get KO'd.
No,
I guess
not
he
at all.
To move. You can move 30, but then you carry the Victini. Yes, it's not quite a great situation here. I guess you move it down somewhere else, perhaps, actually. But there is a Adrenaline Brain that is live thanks to that Monkey Dory energy attachment. 30 damage to play with. Onto a Quilava. That essentially heals 30 from your belt. We'll take 10 because of the poison.
And then we'll eat a flare next turn as well.
That'd be the KO, right?
Yeah, with the poison going into the next
back.
turn. Not exactly what you want to see if you're Gabriel. You really needed something like a boss's orders this turn here. Wondering what the supportive for turn is going to be. We have exhausted all of our trades. Maybe a Turo scenario would be the point here. But we've already actually attacked for turn shade onto Monkey Dory. So we want to be able to continue up the Yveltal lock here. See how exactly it's going to go. There's the Professor Turo. I think it is going to have to be the grabbing of Yveltal off the board here. But the question is, what do you give up?
Yeah.
It might just have to be the Monkey Dory. Oh, okay.
Okay, I mean, we're not at KO range yet.
I think it's the energy switch back in. Oh my goodness.
The subjugating chains, of course.
And we're back. Beautiful stuff,
That's
Gabriel.
some gaming right there. Subjugating chains, just maneuvering those dark Pokemon about. So now we've done what we needed to do. Heal the Yveltal. Energy switch coming in the clutch. Then you have 2 essential energy attachments a turn. And there's the clutch, 10 damage on your Yveltal, 20 damage on the Victini. Oh, and it's just that flare, not even Earth and best way to Ethan's adventure. Okay, so there's just a flare back over to Gabriel, not Ethan. Ethan's Pokemon.
Just cross out the name on the scoreboard and just write Ethan. Anyway, we do have a couple. We know what Gabriel is trying to accomplish this turn, right? Not to take out the Victini, but more so to trap one of another Pokemon here. See how the line is exactly going to go. I would also say, Shay, that taking a double knockout here is not necessarily.
There's a Rosik Machinations hitting the board. That means Fabio has to discard, so he has 3 cards in hand. That's going to be a free way to get Ethan's adventure, of course. There's a Buddy Puff in there. There's a Tatsuguri. Wow, there's a Victini. There's a Rare Candy.
It's all going away.
All going away. Wow, still has. Whoa, this is a good value Rosik here, isn't it? Still has to discard. The debate. Like, interesting. If you get rid of the other Ethans, finding energy could be hard. Does have one in the hand still. But wow, what was that? Was that 7 card discard there?
Yeah.
Wow. Now this is where you love to pile out with the Claw of Darkness, right? I don't think that's happening this turn, but that would be the dream scenario. But there is a Rosik, the evil genius himself, with them evil machinations, discarding 7 cards, and then we do get energy attachment to Monkey Dory. So Adrenaline Brain is now live, essentially undoing the flare damage at this point. So the Yveltal's only taking damage thanks to the poison. Wow, love that. Love the cheeky Rosik.
Here's the key problem here, right? When we're looking at the attack, right? Do we want to attack and get that Victini down? It's kind of a weird situation we're in. Do draw into another Yveltal, so we could definitely be seeing that next turn. We'll see how exactly Gabriel wants to handle it. But if he does clutch again, that is going to be the knockout here, which is going to be the green light now for Fabio. We'll see what he can get done in 4 minutes, Shay. Can he win this game and at least take us to a tie?
Now that would be entertainment, wouldn't it? That would be Pokemon game. And there's the evolution. There's the evolution. Gosh, there's another one as well. Having to count those energy. Oh yeah, you really cannot afford to swing for a 1-price KO here. But then there's the Rosik, removes all options. Is it Lana's Aid, energy, and was it? Oh wow, yeah. And then the evolution. That's all we got. Big. Oh, there's the Lana's Aid though. So we can go back 3 Pokemon, non-EX, and basic energy in any combination. It's going to take 2 energy. There's a Buddy Blast. That's definitely a big KO there for Fabio. As he gets on the board here, now Swiss round 5 game 2 feature match here at Gdansk Regionals. There is no more clutch targets now for Gabriel. He's going to have to play this the old-fashioned way now. And let's see, 3 minutes, 22 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
How will this pan out?
The price mapping here is really important from Fabio. As once again, the end of time rules have changed. Instead of +3 turns, we're just at +1 here. So we'll see how exactly Fabio's going to be able to tie it together here. But still, once again, it will be Gabriel using Enzorwalk EX as a favorite ability, and it is going to be trade here. It does have the boss's orders. We could see something along the lines of maybe trying to boss the Quilava and seeing if you have the final piece. That could be something with a clutch here, because we do know that Yveltal again has hit the bench. That would be 1 out to it. Or if we just want to try and maybe even, well, we can't even bench that Enz Reshiram. Ram. So really just going to have to be, we'll be bossing the Quilava and seeing what Fabio's got.
This is interesting. This could be a read from Gabriel saying that you paid Ethan's adventure not for full value earlier. You didn't take an Ethan's type Rose. Have you prized it? Because if you prize a 3rd copy, then what does Quilava do? 40.
Combustion for 40.
You know, and you can Adrenaline Brain off 30 of that. So let's see. I think after read Gabriel might be taking it or maybe trying to attempt it. And have you even got a 3rd copy of Ethan's Typhlosion by bringing it up into the active and announcing that clutch? Wasting energy.
It also gets rid of the kind of 2-2-2 price trade that we could be going for, right? So we're mitigating, even if Fabio does have the opportunity to grab an Ethan's Typhlosion and get another prize card here, it is just going to be for 1 instead of multiple here. So once again, slowing down the clock, Shay, we are down to about 1:40 now. We have to see how Fabio's going to play around it, because you know Gabriel just going to be clutching all the way through.
Yeah, he's trying to clutch his way to that 5-0 record right now. Let's see. Still got some trades available as well. It looks like, oh no, his art is on getting this card. Oh no, he's so important game to game 1. Game 1. Let's leave him around for a second. I'm going to use trade again, Buddy Pop him. But it looks like there's the clutch. 10 from poison is over to Fabio. The dreamer scenario here would be boss's orders, evolution, and energy. And right now, Kieran with the switch, though, the switch effect. I mean, you love that if you can swing for multi-boss care, but it is going to get him. I forgot. Kieran is a switch effect. He didn't draw into it in game 1.
I totally missed that in the list as well. One of the supporters that actually has a choose 1 option. You can either do some more damage to your opponent's active EX, or you could just switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench. Now, granted, that was the supporter for turn, but it definitely got it done, right? But still, once again, Gabriel always has a Yveltal in the back pocket that we can always send to the front with that Petroni EX.
Come straight back there. And wow, we've got another boss's order. We have.
Oh, come on, Shay. We always got it.
Clutch. Wow. So all Gabriel has announced this turn, as we do see, is getting changed. Clutch and then 1 Claw of Darkness, right?
Yeah.
Who's in Zoroark? He's there to draw cards. We haven't announced Night Joker.
No, definitely
trade. But it looks like we are going to see some more trade activations here as well.
But still, time has been called, so it is going to be Gabriel's turn 0 here.
Yep.
But I don't know, Shay. I have a bad feeling that Fabio's not going to be able to take 4 prize cards in a single turn.
So, did top deck the Ethan's Typhlosion? Let's go out in a blaze of glory. Buddy Blast, Professor's Research. Draw some cards, but viewers, if Fabio cannot win, well, take 4 prize cards this turn, he will be out. This game will essentially be null and void, and Gabriel will win this best of 3. 1-0, but there is the handshake. Gabriel Fernandez advances to the perfect 5-0 here in our Swiss round 5 feature match here in Gdansk, clutching his way to the 5-0 record.
You know, Shay, we should really change the graphic from Enzorwalk with Reshiram to just a giant picture of Yveltal.
Yeah, I agree.
The way that the game flowed, right? And Gabriel, honestly, had no choice, right? Especially when we were talking about it at the beginning of the set, right? No Enzor Manitan, no way to kind of get multiple attackers down. So it really was just a game of numbers. As honestly, this format has turned into for a very long time now with Adrenaline Brain, Monkey Dory's ability that has really just taken this game by storm. As we check out the replay here, once again, just this game of kind of cat and mouse, waiting for one player to kind of throw everything that they got into the active here. So I'm excited to see how far Gabriel goes, but still, Fabio, 100% in this. 4-1 is not a bad record to be at.
It's really not. And he had to set up right. He had a little bit extra time, but if he had anything else, he was drawing a lot of prize cards very fast. But this is our replay here in game 1. It looks like we just had a Claw of Darkness turn, just ripping stuff out of the hand. But game 1 was all about clutch and Adrenaline Brain, believe it or not, as a lot of game 2 was as well. But this was it. This was a big turn. Adrenaline Brain used ×2. We saw the KO, Claw of Darkness. That's all she wrote. In game 2, however, Gabriel did prize the Hero's Cape, so the Heroic Mega Absol wasn't available. It looked like going by now we can see the full screen reaction. I think Gabriel must have been reacting to the Hero's Cape potentially being prized there. Fabio saying, well, you know, I led Victini again, so I guess we're going to have some clutch action. And if it ain't broke, Emily, don't fix it. And that's all Gabriel needed to do, which is announce clutch and make life as hard as we can for Fabio. I think, we actually didn't get to see the big, hefty Zerosic machinations just to make sure you're not drawing cards, you're not playing Buster's Orders, and you're definitely not going to attack into Multi-Visor, and Gabriel advance to that 5-0 record.
Dare I say, Shay, can we just think of a world how that match went if he just did not start McTeeny?
Twice.
But, you know, like, how are you supposed to know, right? Like, until something like that happens. But we saw the Kieran in game number 2, which was, once again, where we started with, oh, well, we have no outs to, hey, we only have one out. But then, you know, Yveltal just comes back down, Green gets powered up. This Petron EX also has really found its way into this deck, working out extremely well, right? Essentially saying, no matter what you want to keep in the active, it doesn't matter, because I'll be able to get the play no matter which way it goes.
Yeah, the control you have of the game with the Petron, you've basically says, I'll fling you out into active and I can retreat for free. And yeah, it's really scary, actually, watching that sort of all pan out there. And if you're Fabio thinking, oh, let it again. Oh, no.
No, please.
No, not like this.
Not like this.
I think he played really well.
Honestly, he did.
He did, yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't draw the outs. But, you know, 4-1 record, that's still perfectly great for this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes to show, once again, if you just make the right deck call, right, and you're getting all these stage 2 Pokemon that, you know, sometimes don't play Yveltal. They don't play ways to kind of keep you stuck in the active. I think Dragapult has kind of drawn away from playing something like Maractus, right? And we're kind of back into really just playing like straight Dragapult Dusknoir and just going straight through with that. So it was really nice to see something different, right, for our second round of phase 1 here on the stream at least. But honestly, dare I say that it was a bloody blast of a time.
Yeah, let's go. Love that. And it's interesting, sort of those lines that I say that separates the good player from the great player from the world-class player. So just realise, okay, this is an awful matchup. If my opponent announces Buddy Blast like potentially three times, I can lose this game. So how do I make that as hard as possible? Let's clutch, bring something up, maneuver the damage, sprinkle it around, and then and only then, when I can win by announcing Claw of Darkness, will I do that. That's exactly what Gabriel did. And just showing why he's a world-class player. And, you know, having one of the most strong and potent year 1 campaigns as a master I think I've seen in a while.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note as well, I tried to point this out this morning when we were talking about the top 8 decks from last week. Gabriel was one of the players that was playing the Hoopa EX in the deck. Now, I can't imagine that is still in there. Maybe it is, right? Maybe it has its purposes other than playing Hoopa EX, but it definitely, I don't think, is in there still. And I'd love to hear from Gabriel on what things he's decided to change up. Once again, just like the questions I asked Henry, what have you been doing for the past week here in Europe? Because obviously not flying all the way back to Brazil and then flying back, you know what, if that's your vibe, like absolutely. But still, I think it's been a really nice time to see him kind of glow up into a master and see that he's still playing just as strong as he was in seniors.
Yeah, and you know, what a first tournament he had, Belo Horizonte, Mega all the way to the final, and then matched Gustavo Wada, a fellow countryman, as it were. It was almost like there's a picture I saw on social media and like shaking hands. It's almost like a, you know, the sort of grandfather of that sort of era. Gustavo Wada, who's a past regional world championships in his junior division and his top 8 was as well. Against the new upstart Gabriel, Gustavo Wada was able to best in there. But then Gabriel next tournament goes and makes top 8 in Lille, and now it's 5-0. It's like, can anyone stop him?
It's hard to say. Honestly, it is very hard to say, but we still have plenty of tournament left, honestly.
Sure.
And the way it's kind of gearing up, right? It seems like, and we haven't had the exact numbers, right? It seems like people are still kind of sticking with their gut. Okay, what was good last weekend? Still probably good 1 weekend later, just with a couple of cards maybe taken out, moved around, right? Like I said, Gabriel definitely not playing that Hoopa EX again, especially because honestly, well, yes, it was a community choice kind of winner there.
True,
we've seen a little bit of decline of the Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan box, and I think it's just because that deck really kind of like roared into the format. Everyone was like, what is going on? And people work quick in this game, right? They see something that like needs to get taken care of, and they're like, how do we beat that right away?
Yep, and it's interesting because things like the counters, as you said, Gabriel was playing the Hoopa. No, obviously, I imagine that Absol maybe coming in one of those slots with the Heroes, Zerosic sort of fit in. But yeah, people adapted that Mega Absol deck pretty quickly. I had a Barnstorm in Milwaukee, but it counter adapts as well. And as we say, we are going to try and get that on for you since it was your community choice. We are going to try, but you kind of got a little bit of it there with the Mega Absol, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Who better to ask than Gabriel though? Because it seems like Amy right in the lounge right with Gabriel.
Welcome everybody, I'm here on the floor where it is absolutely buzzing with energy here in Gdansk, Poland. But of course we have our winner of our feature match. Gabriel, how are you feeling being on such a strong record?
Feeling good. Hopefully running back the good result from Lily.
Absolutely, Lille, you went really well for you, got so close, but the tweaks that you made to your deck are really interesting. What do you think the most notable is?
I really like Zerosic. It's a pretty cool card. I added to my list, and the Mega Absol is also pretty good with the Heroes Cape. It's just broken.
Yeah, honestly, I've got to agree. I think the Heroes Cape makes a really big difference, and also I love the Zerosic. I think it's a card that people won't be expecting, but with you making sure that, you know, you can have them build that really big hand and then snatch it away from them, that's a great tactic. Have you found it useful in more than just this matchup?
Yeah, so I faced Control the last round,
gosh.
and I just Zerosic, he had like a 20 card hand, and he scooped. So
bless.
That was a pretty good matchup anyway, but it's pretty good to use. And with the two Yveltal I'm using, it just really goes well. They have always a huge hand, and I get to use it a lot.
That's so good. You've worked out that synergy. You didn't have a lot of time to put that together. Did you kind of have the idea at Lille or afterwards?
So afterwards, I was like, we need a way to beat Gholdengo. I did it in the ASIM last tournament, but it's just such a bad matchup, and I wanted to tech for it. And I feel like the Zerosic does a really good job in that matchup.
That's honestly so great to hear. Thank you for giving us some insight into your absolutely fantastic deck building skills, and I wish you the best of luck in the rest of the tournament. We're going to throw it back for now.
Thank you so much, Amy, for that awesome interview with Gabriel. Once again, this big theme that we're talking about, Shay, is what has changed from last week into this week. And the little cheeky Zerosic's machinations is apparently what you need to beat Gholdengo.
Yeah, I love that. I love that just reaction from Gabriel. I've lost the Gholdengo in top 8. I'm not happy about it. Nope. So let's immediately fix it. And something we actually talked about a little bit on the Lille stream last week, actually, is the idea of like soft text versus like hard text. Soft text is a card, or a card that you can use that's targeting one deck, but you can use it against other stuff. Like we saw the Zerosic getting played there. It wasn't playing a Gholdengo, but still had use instead of something like a Hoopa, which I guess in theory you can attack into other stuff, but it's really not very good. So yeah, it's interesting seeing the developments.
No. If you want to be like Gabriel and start from, you know, your youngest way of playing and going up to him playing on Masters of Regionals, why not try going to your locals? And sometimes at your locals, you can get some pretty promos as well here too. But I personally, Shay, I'm a big fan of locals. It's kind of like what I run on as a caster. It's because how I got here was playing my locals. When I was in the States, I played 3 locals a week, all very far away from my house. And it's the best way that you can meet your, of course, your testing partners, people that you go to regionals with, but also your best friends.
Yeah, so let's have a look at what you can expect to see at your locals if you choose to go.
Hey, do you want to play?
Yeah. I'll use mechanics. Good game, guys. Bye.
Come play at your local Pokemon League.
So if you want to be in a building filled with like-minded Pokemon fanatics like me, and I'm sure like yourself as well, get your phone out, scan that QR code, and get involved. Now, I want to let you into a little story here. I had to do this exact process myself. I just moved flat recently in the UK. I've moved down south, and I was like, I don't know where my local league is anymore. So I had to use this QR code myself, punch in where I live, my address, and it told me where the closest leagues were. And now I'm part of a new local community. It couldn't be easier. So I want you to do that right now. I think that's something you've had to do as well recently, right?
Yeah, you want to talk about moving from one side of a country to another. Try saying, hello guys, I'm going to spend 6 months on a different continent. Where do I play Pokemon? And honestly, Joe and I spend our weekends waking up very early and driving about an hour to 30, so sometimes 2 hours to go to League Cups and League Challenges. But that's what we love to do. Big shout out to Amy as well. We visited her league because she's actually a Pokemon professor. She ran an amazing cup. We had a great time. And honestly, it goes to show, right, all of us, right, casters, community members, we are at these local leagues, right? Because at the end of the day, we all really just love playing Pokemon.
We do. We love playing Pokemon. We're talking about playing Pokemon. We just love Pokemon full stop, really. And I'm sure you do as well if you're watching this stream. So make sure you get involved at your local league. As you do say, Amy runs her own league. Fantastic league. Been there myself a few times as well. So that wraps up our round 5 though. Ooh. Yeah, it does. So how about we have a little bit of a rest? You can grab some snacks, you can grab a drink and all that jazz. We're going to come back with round 6 real soon. And for now, let's have a look at how the Scarlet and Violet era panned out for us in the Pokemon TCG.
Hey trainers, I'm Ross Gilbert, and with the Scarlet and Violet era having come to a close with the release of Black Bolt and White Flare, it's time to take a look at the key moments from the top decks of the Scarlet and Violet era. We'll find the evolution needed. Charizard gets the knockout. Here we go, look at all the pieces. Perfect match, like take the Starting off with our friend Charizard. It's got the phenomenal Burning Darkness attack that gets more powerful as the game goes along, and a best friend in the guise of Pidgeot, whose quick search ability can grab any card you like from your deck. It was the deck with which Tord Reklev won the European International Championships in the 2024 season, taking down Isaiah Bradner's Lost Zone deck in the final, a player who would win their own international championship the following season. More on that in a moment. Dragapult, since its release in Twilight Masquerade, has always been fighting for the title of best deck, and between the phenomenal Phantom Dive attack doing 200 to the active Pokemon while dropping 6 damage counters, and the Stage 1 Dracloak from which it evolved having Recon Directive, an ability allowing you to draw cards and gain consistency, you can see why. It won the first regional championship of last season with Ryuki Okada taking the title in Dortmund, beating Rahul Reddy's Lugia in the final, and then it added a North American regional victory in Vancouver with Andrew Hedrick taking down Lucas Shing's Golden Goat in the final. And it may never have taken an international championship title in the Masters division, but it did go toe-to-toe with Gardevoir in the World's final last season, which leads us nicely to Gardevoir, really revolving around this Psychic Embrace ability, allowing you to accelerate energy as you like, and although it's got the fairly significant downside of placing damage counters when you accelerate energy, that's okay because we've got stuff like Monkey Gory, which can for instance take the damage from your Pokemon and move it to your opponents. And when we're talking about Gardevoir, we could mention how Tord Reklev took 2nd place at the European Internationals the first weekend Gardevoir was legal. We could mention Henry Chow's 3 regional wins last season with the deck. We could mention that it took both finalist spots at the North American International Championships before Isaiah Bradner took his first international championship victory. But I think we need to focus in on the real highlight here, which was Gardevoir winning the World Championships with Riley McKay taking the title in Anaheim, beating what else but Dragapult in the final. There were many memorable decks and many memorable moments in the Scarlet and Violet era, but these stand out to me as the most impactful. But will these decks remain as impactful moving forward? Will new decks come and take their place? Stay tuned to find out.
This is resistant damage. Is it enough to knock out? Looks like it takes down the Galaxapod. Parabolic charge is loaded here, but there's only 1 HP remaining on this tiny little Dedenne. Zaxxon is going to take a 3-0 series sweep.
Rise for Zaxxon. He is your 2025 North America International Champion.
Pikachu looking for an opportunity to get in. Great Praise is getting struck down real low. It's on the back of Overlord. The last player in the game. Overheat is there. Overheats the chair. Luminosity Gaming is going to go scramble to score. They've got a ton of shields.
The prophecy from Luminosity. A 3-1 victory as LG wins LAIC. LG wins EUIC. LG wins NAIC. One of the best to ever do it. Luminosity Gaming.
And behind the game up at 2 prize cards apiece. What's going to happen here?
See what the top deck is here.
The boss's orders. Here comes the Pheasantipid EX, the Trinabrain, and Annabelle Ono is your North America International Champion.
Quick search being used. What do you think we're going to grab? Boss's orders. Boss's orders, Pheasantipity. Then we're going to see the big Burning Darkness out.
Undefeated, unstoppable, undeniable, ice in the veins. Gabriel, you are North American International Champion.
Latin America, Europe, and now the North American International Championship, a Grand Slam.
He'll attack Burn, leave himself with no damage. He knows his opponent doesn't have Boss's orders. Is that the
he's going to take the 2 damage, move it over. He's got 2 more to work with. He's got the Psychic Embraces. He just needs to attach the Dark Energy here, and he should be able to make this happen.
That's going to be it. Next, the Trinabrain, perfect match. Isaiah takes the KO, and he is the North American International Champion.
It could all come down to this particular turn. Rhydon able to move fast, does go for the electric drift and find his mark down into the river with the Assault Vest, really paying off, keeping it in the game. With a critical hit though, such a valiant effort coming through from Rhydon, but the Woodhammer comes through, seals the game, and Wacky Rocknet takes the title in the junior division to become your champion at the North American International Championships. Hello is able to fire up one final Moongeist beam with this Lunala, and actually gets some critical hits. But you're right, the Weezing hits the field and Protect available on both Pokemon, and so we'll see this at the final moves of choice. Izok has attended 3 international championships this season, able to get top cut in both of the previous ones, and leaves this one as a champion at last. Congratulations to Izok Molela, your 2025 North America International Champion.
Here's the one thing you can hope for is that Federico makes a mistake and goes on the offensive with this Lunala using Moongeist Beam to stop very effective damage onto that Pokemon, but Federico doesn't. He goes for the move back. Federico Camporisi is your 2025 North America International Champion.
I
was really nervous going into that because it was my first finals. I just had to see progress everything, but it feels amazing to kind of leave a legacy that I think no other team will be able to replicate.
UIC, LEIC, and NAIC, now we're going to Worlds.
I don't think I could ever imagine this.
Thank you for everybody.
This feels incredible. People who win this tournament, just couldn't be happier.
I'm Ethan Wild, and I'm just here to play Pokemon and have fun. So I started playing about 5.5 years ago, and it was just to pick up something new. I wanted to get out and about and start doing things not in front of a screen and meet new people. I think the favorite deck that I played is Mew VMAX. It's not legal anymore, but it was really fun to play. You just drew so many cards, you had so much flexibility, you could use single prize attackers, you'd stop your opponent from doing anything like with Judge and Path. It was just very versatile. I think the community is just an amazing factor. There are so many nice people, and just seeing friends regularly at regionals and ICs is really fun. Yeah, I just enjoy meeting people from all around the world.
Coming back from that break, I hope you did grab a snack and grab a drink. I, Emily Foreman, and now joined here by the best Conkeldurr player right now in Europe, Amy Wasley, coming off of a hot 71st at Lille. How are you, Amy? That last interview was great. How's it feel to be back behind the desk? You're gagged, I know.
What have you done? No. I was looking around for the best Conkeldurr player. No, honestly, a great interview with a fantastic player. Honestly, it was a masterful display of how deck building can change in just 6 days. We've had 6 days between when we crowned our champion of Lille and now. 6 days, and that was all it took for Gabriel to go, you know what? I figured it out. I know what fixes it. And you know, I always have those moments when I can't write it down. Whenever I'm like, I'll be doing some exercise, I'll be out on a walk, and I'll be like, I can't write this down, but I figured out the matchup. I feel like it's one of those moments where you would have been like in the shower and then like suddenly like the eureka moment.
Well, still, Amy, I mean, last round we did have to divert away from the community choice, but I'm very happy to bring you all the community choice that you all have voted for. It is going to be Mega Absol and Mega Kangaskhan going up against, it is going to be TerraBox here. So this one should be fun, but honestly, we're going from match to match, Amy. We are on fire today.
We very much are here in Gdansk, in Poland. We have our players at the desk. We're ready to go. We've got Aurelian here, Frankfurt top 64, and Lille top 256, running it back again. I wonder if they're playing the same list or whether they've changed things up. We might be able to find that little factoid out for you. But regardless, a very well-placing player this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And to make day 2 2 times in a row, too. Not easy to do at all here. So I'm excited to see what Aurelian does bring to the table as well. But going on over into our other side here on the Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan deck, it will be Marcel here. We've got to see what's coming down right away. That's a lot of Pokemon on Aurelian's side, but that's a lot of Crispin on the other.
Which will suffice. Less Pokemon or fewer supporters. It's time. Let's get right into it. Round 6, a win and in.
See what the starters will be here. It is going to be Aurelian starting off here, and that's what TerraBox loves to do. Loves to start with that opener, especially with a Terra Pokemon on your bench, so you can go on ahead and use Noctowl, which will be this engine going into our second turn here.
Okay, it's just an attached pass after a Hoodoo on the bench for Aurelian, and we're over to Marcel's turn, where we're using Mega Kangaskhan, one of the probably most used Mega Pokemon, because it's just so versatile, allowing you to draw more cards straight into a Pokegear. I wonder if we'll find that last Crispin, or whether it's going to have to wait.
I think here, Amy, I think we're actually going to try and go for an Arven here, just because the A-Spec, just because we haven't had too much time to talk about the decks just yet. The A-Spec being here, Precious, Trolley, very important to note out here, able to grab a bunch of your basics and put them on the bench here. I really want to bench a second Pokemon, and we will be seeing the tech here, right? And it will be for this Buffalon with the ability Curly Wall, where if you have 2 of them, your normal, your colorless type Pokemon actually take 60 less damage.
That's really considerable, especially when Mega Kangaskhan EX already has a gargantuan 300 hit points. We're looking at an extra 60, 360. Now that is not a number that Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX likes to hear. That is a humongous, and Wellspring Ogerpon loves to pick off those smaller Pokemon on the bench with its attacks. Now it's notable to note that the Buffalon do not affect one another, so their 100 HP will remain.
I think what's something very important, as Shay and I were talking about last round going into this round, what changes have we made from last week to this week? I think TerraBox was playing a lot of Jamming Tower last week to turn off a lot of the Bravery terms, but here you can't really turn off the Buffalons unless you're kind of wasting a turn and taking one individually and putting it into the discard here. But it still will now be on over into Aurelian's turn. Has to really think about it here. As I can see right now, we are going to evolve into the Noctowl here. We have to be really careful about how we go about this, right? We could play very aggressively, right? We could try and torrential pump this turn, but believe it or not, Amy, it's not actually our best line. I like what we're going for on Aurelian's side, where we could be seeing a Buddy pop in to grab some more Hoot-Hoots. I would love to see a little bit more draw as Aurelian brings forward the Lily's Determination here. We can really get set up, and we can actually buy ourselves some time. With 2 Crispins prize here from Marcel, not exactly going to be the easiest way to power up this Mega Kangaskhan where we're starting to swing.
Both decks are kind of on a slow roll off the finish line at the moment, or the starting line, I should say, because both have not really had adequate setup. Neither have hit the mark of what they want to achieve immediately. We're going for the Buddy Poffin as well as the Lily's Determination for 2 more Hoot-Hoo. Very well read, Emily, straight on it, with knowing that that setup needs to be stabilized.
Yeah, not much else to really work with here either. We could attach an energy onto the active Noctowl just as a way to say, hey, we can definitely retreat next turn, but we could also just play this Lily's Determination, see where we got so far in the hand currently with Blood Moon, Ursaluna, an energy card, Area 0 Underdepths, all things we don't necessarily need right now. So seeing a fresh 8 cards because we haven't taken a prize card just yet feels a lot better here. We could potentially draw into some more pieces, but also some outs to some Noctowls next turn.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we want to be seeing. We want to see a hand flourish and lush with good Pokemon and supporters. Hopefully we'll get just that, and really we're looking for something that can finally start to take things down.
Ooh, okay, well, you're talking about things that can reach high numbers, Amy. It is going to be the Pikachu EX coming into play here. That is going to be able to hit its attack Topaz Bolt here for 300. Also did draw into the Sparkling Crystal as well. There's only one real target that should be going on, but once again, Amy, this build of Mega Kangaskhan here is playing the Curly Wall Buffalon. Hitting 300 is not exactly what we need. We need just a little bit more.
Although, saying that, I mean, yes, leaving the Kangaskhan in play is not ideal, but once that Curly Wall comes down, if 300 damage remains on the Kangaskhan, it's still going to be knocked out in addition to a Buffalon in a later turn. But for now, we get to continue to use that super strong ability, draw 2 more cards, and get straight into this next turn. Will Marcel just start to continue to power up this Mega Kangaskhan? But for now, we're straight into that Arven. Precious Trolley, here we go. We're going to get all the guys on the bench. They're going to be here, present, and honestly, just getting, again, set up properly. Both of these players wished both of these actions happened on their previous turns, but we're getting there now, and it's a real tit for tat. Every single time, Aurelian goes, okay, finally, I have a board. Now Marcel goes, you know what? I can do that too.
Yeah, Amy, do you mind doing some math for me, okay?
Oh, gosh.
So Arven, as we know, grabs a item and a tool here, and the tool that was actually grabbed was Bravery Charm, right? Which only goes on basic. Now, as much as I have had my reps on Mega Kangaskhan before, if we add a Bravery Charm to a Mega Kangaskhan plus the Curly Wall, how much damage do we have to do in one turn to get rid of that Pokemon and take 3 prizes? Tell me, Amy, what do you got?
Okay, so we've got a 60 extra from the Bufalon and 50 extra from Bravery Charm, getting 410 HP is a one-hit KO on these Mega Kangaskhan now. Only the one that has the Bravery Charm on thus far, but that could be something that comes back in the future. Maybe there's more, we'll wait and see. For now, looks like it's just a pass over to Aurelian's turn once again after setting up another Kangaskhan and Monkey Dory thanks to Technical Machine Turbo Energize.
This one's going to be so difficult, Amy. That's over 400, right? Technically on basic, right? You can only imagine just by looking at the list. There's 3 penny in this list, Amy, so we can recycle not only our Mega Kangaskhan's, right, when they get damaged, but we can also recycle the Bravery Charm as well. So honestly, Marcel has this perfect wall essentially put up, a curly wall, if you will, and this is actually really hard for any deck to hit, right? Even Charizard going all the way up with Burning Darkness can't hit 400.
No, you're absolutely right. And like I said, we can just keep recycling that entire engine. And now that it's set up, it becomes a slightly unbreakable wall unless you deal with the Bufalon. But that's really suboptimal, taking 1 prize card just to lower a bit of HP. But we can't get to the 410. It's just all a bit of a nightmare all around. This family has some serious power behind its unit.
Yeah, the thing is too, my tech card going into this weekend that I wanted everyone to kind of think about here is the Shaman that is currently on Marcel's side as well. Wellspring Ogerpon did tons of damage last weekend, ruined a lot of people's boards. And just seeing a Wellspring Ogerpon saying, hey, you know what? I know that you're going to go for a torrential pump on my Bufalons at some point here to try and open up the board just a little bit. This Shaman essentially puts a complete stop to a lot of that. We'll be Jewel Seeker for the Crispin here. And we do see a Lily's Clefairy EX. So if we were to go on ahead and expand the bench all the way out, we're still not hitting the number that we actually need here. But we could start seeing a little bit of damage going back and forth. But still, once again, Mega Kangaskhan's attack does hit for 200 flat, and that Lily's Clefairy is going down.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the risk with Lily's Clefairy is it's just got that really not ideal HP, and it still gives up 2 prize cards. So although it's a heavy hitter, it's a real glass cannon in this format. We're going to go ahead and use that Crispin, attaching the grass type energy from deck, and the Psychic would go to hand, but we're choosing to attach it straight away to Lily's Clefairy. Looks like Aurelian might be wanting to put a chink in Marcel's armor.
Yeah, the thing is though, I can see Marcel's hand, and I already see another Bravery Charm and a Penny ready to go. So once again, we're going back down to this point of, well, even if we're able to start doing some damage, we're going to start seeing the way that maybe not all the way through here. And this is what is making this deck a little bit more difficult here, but it still will be the switch found off of the Jewel Seeker here onto the Lily's Clefairy EX, and using that Full Moon Rondo to do a ton of damage here thanks to the help of Area 0 Underdepths.
Yeah, we know that with the Rondo-based attacks are all based off how many bench Pokemon there are in play, yours and your opponent's, so it scales really quickly and you get that plus 20 as well. Great into Dragon types, but not so effective into Mega Kangaskhan EX at this stage, unfortunately.
All of the bench Pokemon on Aurelian's side versus just a full bench on Marcel's side, only thanks to the Curly Wall, only equaled about, what, 100-something damage, 180 damage here?
It's a fraction of what we're needing. Aurelian, realizing that we're going to have to do-shot this. Monkey Dory's actually still there as well to remove some of this and bounce it back. And there it goes. There's the Adrena Brain bouncing 30 damage back, going, of course, on the Pikachu to disable that Resolute Heart ability, which is so crucial to Pikachu's advantage in this game.
Yeah, I honestly heard someone in the crowd the moment that the penny came down and said, because this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Being able to attach for turn, and also now having a completely healthy, charmed Mega Kangaskhan ready to go here. And we don't even need to flip coins, Amy, because Lily's Clefairy EX only 190 hit points here, and this is going to be a great lead for Marcel going in. I don't know how Aurelian responds.
Honestly, neither do I. I feel like once Marcel has this wall put up, it really is quite indestructible. Aurelian's going to have to work really hard to be able to put any sort of damage on the board at this stage. Mew might help. Mew's a pretty valid attacker into Mega Kangaskhan EX, so maybe that's a way around this, is powering up a Mew EX. Also good for your card draw, so I think benching this is very valid and understandable at this stage. Thinking about the Sparkling Crystal on the Pikachu, again, what we can do is start to put that damage on Mega Kangaskhan, hope the penny doesn't come back round, eventually deal with the Bufalon. There's some lines here, but they are complex. Aurelian is not out of the ballpark, but he's certainly struggling to get through the gate.
Does have an Ultra Ball in hand, so we could find a Noctowl and Jewel Seek this turn, and I have a feeling that's what it is going to be. I'm thinking supported for turn, Amy, is going to be something along the lines of this Crispin here, where we can get that final energy onto the Pikachu that we need to start attacking, but also getting an energy on Mew for turn. Like you said, this is our pivot, our genome hacking that we have, that we can actually copy the attack of Mega Kangaskhan and then flip some heads, and hopefully we flip enough heads in a row, Amy, where we're going above 400.
I tell you what, I'm really, really frustrated for Aurelian having to discard that Briar. It's a one-off in the deck. We don't play a Palpad, so one of the ways that Aurelian could have seeked to catch up and maybe take the Bufalon as the final prize card would have actually been 2 prize cards in the end if timed correctly. Unfortunately, that option's no longer there, and with so many terrestrialized Pokemon, there was always a high percentage chance of being able to use that Briar at a really opportune moment.
Going to be the Terapagos as the pick as well here. So, and also once again, it is going to be this Crispin to start to grab some energy out of the deck to try and break the wall that Marcel has put up here. Could also be, dare I say, Amy, could we be seeing a Crown Opal? It doesn't necessarily work here because of the colorless type Mega Kangaskhan here that can actually hit through it. But I mean, Terapagos does have 2 attacks, but still, I think it will just be the unified beatdown here, which, like Lily's Clefairy EX, does hit for the amount of Pokemon you have on the bench, but not your opponent's.
No, just your own this time. It's 30 times the amount of Pokemon on your bench. We don't get any additional damage. And there we go again. We're going to put some damage on the board for 150 this time, and we'll see how much of it sticks around and for how long. I'm not sure if I've seen a penny in the hand. You guys might know better at home. We do have the Academy at night there. Not just an Academy, it's at night.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to take us through it? Because I think you had a really good line when we were looking at these lists a little bit before, and I'd love for you to tell me what you, or tell the people what you told me a bit earlier.
I think that the Academy at night might be for kind of those partial mirror situations with a Mega Absol, or when you come up against a Mega Absol. Marcel does have one in his list, but I think this is a nice tell for being able to put cards on the top of your deck that you don't want your opponent to be taking out of your hand and putting in the discard pile. It's like a protection method. You know that's going to be your next top deck no matter what. It's INO protection as well as Absol protection, and you're going to draw cards with the Mega Kangaskhan, so you'll draw it back in no time.
Well, it is going to be the boss's orders here onto the Mew EX here, and no coin flips necessary as well. And I don't know if you caught that off of the prizes, Amy, but that was a penny taken as well. Things aren't looking too good. I mean, we could still try and hit with the Pikachu this turn, but unfortunately that Pikachu does have 3 damage counters onto it, which means that Resolute Heart ability, which keeps it from getting knocked out here, isn't really applicable. We did draw the metal energy for turn. We absolutely could, but it feels like we're just giving a prize card at this point. Dare I say, it might be time to just attach to Blood Moon Ursaluna and let Blood Moon Ursaluna do the work.
Honestly, I'm not sure at this stage. It feels like we're definitely contemplating the Pikachu. It's here. We're retreating into the Pikachu. I just don't think it's going to be enough, but you never know. For the last 2 prize cards, can Marcel get those coin flips for the Pikachu?
What was also big as well is that Marcel also pulled Crispin off the prize cards as well, aside from the penny, but also the Crispin, right? So we still, no matter what, have our options here. Will be Topaz Bolt, and still will be just the draw for turn, the attack from Marcel, and we are going to go into a game number 2, Marcel taking it very dominantly.
Absolutely. Admirable play. Polished. to perfection. A gem right here in the Ember Expo in Poland, in Gdansk, 2025. Marcel making a real stand, saying, actually, there's more to this Kangaskhan than just draw power. It has a mighty shield behind it and many friends, and look what I can achieve.
Yeah, and once again, as we were talking about in the beginning of this set, right? In the beginning of the day, what have people changed from last weekend going into this weekend? I sure did not see Buffalon Curly Wall coming into the mix here, but it makes the most amount of sense, right? Yeah. We can turn off Bravery Charm. You can't turn off a Buffalon, right? And still, it will just be Mega Kangaskhan powering through the Penny as well. Such a great support card for decks like this, right? Where we need our tools, right? We need to keep stacking up the damage as much as possible and then saying, you know what, I'll just take it away. And especially with Monkey Dory, right? Using Monkey Dory to break apart Pikachu's Resolute Heart ability, but then again, it just comes down to a boss prize trade, right? 2/2/2, going straight through it, runaway run all the way through.
Absolutely, drawing all of those cards, sequencing it perfectly, pennying at the right time. Gave Aurelion no room for improvement, no room for a comeback, because the pressure was so high and hot and on it. So there was no way that Aurelion even had space to bring it back. Now we've just seen the prize cards go down, and Emily's just pointed it. Go on, tell me. Tell me.
I hate to see your Sparkling Crystal not only in your prize cards, but at the top of your prize cards. Not feeling too great. Now, when we're talking about counterplay to something like Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan deck, the Iron Bundle was also a really good idea as well. Just getting it out of the active and then putting it back in. We'll see how this one's going to go, but I like how Aurelion is actually going second here. So preventing the TM Turbo Energize that we talked about a little bit earlier, but starting this Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon here.
Yeah, starting the Cornerstone. We didn't see it at all last game. Has a little bit of relevance in this matchup, but Aurelion does play that Terrapagos, which can just mow through this Cornerstone's ability. Normally, can't be affected by a Pokemon with an ability. Well, Terrapagos doesn't have an ability. Terrapagos is just strong in its own right. Doesn't need it. And so we do have a bit of a counter, and obviously Aurelion did show that off last turn. But we're going to see, of course, a retreat into our Kangaskhan to draw more cards. You couldn't really ask for more from this deck right now. The hand isn't looking great. We do have the Crispin, we've got Turbo Energize, we've got Energy. But other than that, there isn't a lot more Pokemon-wise going on. We need that Curly Wall as quickly as we can, so Aurelion doesn't run away with this.
Well, Amy, I'm looking at Aurelion's hand, right? And when you play Terrorbox, you can't ask for anything more than having a couple owls in your hand and a nest ball, right? Able to go on ahead and grab that Van Rotom here. We actually don't even need to grab Van Rotom at all here. We're going to be able to do the prize check, and Aurelion's going to have something not nice to really kind of see here, as that Sparkling Crystal is going to be prized here. But one of the advantages of Terrorbox that we all kind of know is that Terrorbox really does its best to play counter, right? If we have a deck that takes a couple turns to set up, we have Wellspring Ogerpon EX to wipe things off the board as quickly as possible, right? If we have something a little bit heavier, like a Dragapult, once it completely gets set up, right? We have Lilieskull Fairy EX to take care of that. I don't think Terrorbox really has an answer to the biggest wall we've seen so far in Mega Kangaskhan.
No, I think you're right. I think unfortunately it does fall short in the mathematics. You can't really piece that together as nicely as you'd want to. But let's see how Aurelion changes his gameplay now. He knows what's going on with Marcel's deck. We're starting to transformative start from our Ditto into a Pikachu from the deck. The Ditto goes to the discard pile. We have Hoot set up on the bench, and that's a lot of hoots, and we love to see it because this deck relies on that Noctowl engine to just keep going and to be able to pluck exactly the card you want from the deck at the opportune moment.
Using the run errand once again to draw a couple of cards here straight into the Pokegear. I can imagine that Marcel really wants to see the Precious Trolley this turn, right? We want to start getting that Curly Wall set up just because the Pikachu already threatening here, and there's the Arven off of the Pokegear. You can imagine what's going to be found will probably be that Precious Trolley and another Bravery Charm here. Just automatically being plucked from the deck, Amy.
There it is, that Bravery Charm giving Mama Kangaskhan the bravery she needs to take Arena Kid into battle as they power on forward with the help of their friends Buffalon, Monkey Dory, other Buffalon, and of course Mega Kangaskhan EX. Again, the bench that we saw last game work magically together, minus Cornerstone.
My only question here is that the Bravery Charm was the grab here. I'm assuming that we have Energy Turbo Energize in hand. I was about to say, because we gotta get an attacker going, right? That's pretty important. We don't actually have a Latias in play though, Amy, so we're gonna have to pay a pretty heavy retreat cost, or we might have to play a more patient game to get things really going here. We want to start attacking next turn. And we do play 2 copies of Energy Switch, so that does actually that can come into play next turn, but still we're gonna go straight to the Monkey Dory here because we're just assuming that Aurelion has the pieces to at least Topaz Bolt once next turn.
Yeah, we have our Curly Wall on board, but you're right, we're gonna need a little more energy than just this to achieve much. Now Aurelion has everything in their ballpark right now to be able to come back and make some meaningful attacks before Marcel manages to kind of make that big comeback to start that rapid fire combo attack from Mega Kangaskhan. Aurelion now has the opportunity to get whatever Noctowls they need into play. With the Area 0 Underdepths in play, we can Nest Ball and grab another Pokemon for our bench. We can have up to 8 Pokemon on our bench because we have the Pikachu in play, who's a Terra Pokemon.
The thing is, Amy, I don't know if we want to be swinging with the Pikachu, right? Monkey Dory's already set up and ready to go, so now we have to try and pivot into something like this Terrapagos EX, where we could potentially, survive one of these rapid fire combos here. But it will be, we have a couple of what we need in the hand, right? We have a Noctowl, right? So we could get one piece, right? But we have this Pikachu in the active with no way to retreat it right now. We could grab an air balloon off of something like this Noctowl here, but honestly, I like what Aurelion is going for here. We just need to see a couple more cards. We have pieces, but not the pieces we need.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Turo in the list from Aurelion. We know that if the Pikachu does take damage from Monkey Dory, there's an answer to that to bring the Resolute Heart back. So although we have Turo in hand right now, we don't want that. We don't need it right now. So grabbing the Lilies just to refresh that hand, make it bigger. Nest Ball, get a Latias. Now we have the free retreat. Here we go. It's coming together. And it may seem like a bit of a mirror of last game. It may seem repetitive, but you're wrong. This game is much more favorable for Aurelion.
I'm wondering if we have a line into the Cornerstone Ogerpon at some point here, trying to at least get on the board here. Aurelion's going to try to get into that Sparkling Crystal stuck in the prizes here. We'll see what the 8 cards give to Aurelion here, see how exactly it's going to happen. I see another Noctowl, I see a Grass Energy, and I see a Crispin. Now granted, we've already used supportive return, right? But we can at least get one energy on the board. We can start to kind of work around, but Amy, dare I say that attacking this turn might not actually be our best play?
No, I think you're right, and I think in fact not attacking is almost favorable, making sure that the Monkey Dory had less energy to throw, more damage to throw back at you for more turns.
Please.
Yeah, realistically, retreat into Rotom, thanks to Latias, and pass, great. We will leave a single prize Pokemon in the active spot, keep everything safe on the bench, nothing for Monkey Dory to work with. We're on to Marcel, and of course we draw for turn and have that lovely run errands, making sure that Mama's getting all of the pieces together in that hand, getting everything together.
I'm wondering if we're going to see another Penny up or Energy Switch the energy off of the active Mega Kangaskhan onto the bench into Penny into attack for turn. Could also see Crispin as well. We just want to start swinging away with our rapid fire combo. That could be just absolutely our line here. I do think Marcel's at a big advantage, even if we're just taking one prize card, right? It's still at least getting on the board here. Granted, we still also have plenty of time left. About half the round is gone here. But Marcel playing at a great pace here, has the wall set up, and now all we just need are the pieces to start swinging.
I wonder whether you want to take a single prize card knowing that traditionally Aurelion will be playing counter catchers. You're going to play into that. You've got the Cornerstone, you've got the Buffalons, you've got the Monkey Dory. There are lots of targets that would be lovely for Aurelion right now. But we are going for the Crispin, we're going for the aggressive play, attaching to Mega Kangaskhan with the Crispin, and then we can choose to attach for turn from one of the energy in our hand. Looks like we're going to be going for the fighting rather than Darkness Energy to keep that for a second Monkey Dory, which I can see in the hand for later maybe. Oh, no, we can take this on steady maybe. Thinking about the bench Kangaskhan instead.
does have the air balloon as well if we really want to go that route, but I think if Aurelion is taking the slower route, I think Marcel also in their own right can also take a slow route.
Absolutely.
Right? You can say, you know what, if you didn't attack last turn, I don't need to attack last turn. I'd rather have all of my attackers powered up and ready to go than anything else. Could just be a pass and it will just be back on over to Aurelion's side.
So this one's an interesting read. It was, okay, well, I don't really want to take a single prize Pokemon. I've got vulnerable Pokemon on my bench. One prize card doesn't benefit me. I'm better off getting this penny loop kind of ready to rumble by having another Kangaskhan fully attached energy ready to go for when I need to pick this one up.
Sure.
So I love this. Taking it slow and steady truly does win the race, and I'm not sure who's going to take the first prize card at this rate.
No. We can just take our time though, right? So we are going to Jewel Seeker here. I think both players are going to go for the same line of, hey, let me have all of my attackers powered up, and then let's just start swinging. The problem is though, if you're Aurelion, you can definitely get that Earthen Vessel that I think I saw flashed just a little bit here. We can still, funnel that energy to the Teal Mask Ogrepon and still try and move it around to the Terapagos, to the Pikachu, for example. But it's still just an uncomfortable position to be in when I think Aurelion's clear line is, hey, I can take the Cornerstone with Terapagos, but then what?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Then what indeed? There isn't many ways to go. You still can't dish out enough damage in one go, and the moment you give Marcel that leeway is the moment it starts to unfold, as we saw last battle.
Will be the Earthen Vessel discarding of the Buddy Buddy Puffin though to grab 2 Grass Energy here. Once again, my favorite card in this format, Teal Mask Ogrepon EX. Once during your turn, if you have a Grass Energy in your hand, you can attach it to the Ogrepon for essentially free. And you also get to draw a card. It's a great engine that we've seen in a ton of decks so far. Allows for you to get that one extra draw here. We do have Crispin. I do see a boss. I couldn't see if I think we have the energy switch in hand. We also have Latias. We don't need to pay the retreat cost onto the active here. Could just be that boss's orders onto Cornerstone and starting to get us on the board Amy. But once again, what's the play after?
Yep, what's next? Whatever could be next. And we do have a nice full board, so Terapagos is hitting for a respectable amount of damage, and there it is. The boss's orders exactly as we predicted. We want that Terapagos taking down the Cornerstone, taking 2 prize cards. Aurelion takes the first 2 prize cards that he has taken in this best of 3s thus far.
Well, it's the first 2 and then what, right? But it is going to be Marcel putting back forward the Mega Kangaskhan EX. Once again, with an awesome ability, run errand, get to just draw 2 cards. If anything that I've learned this format is that if we're going to find a way to draw cards, it's always just going to happen. I just love the fact that we just have so much flexibility here. But still, once again, the big problem that we talked about, right? Mega Kangaskhan is powered up, ready to go, a Curly Wall, a Bravery Charm. Definitely, if you're wanting to kind of take this Pokemon out in one attack, you need to hit over 400 damage. Not too many Pokemon can do that at all.
I know what Pokemon can do that.
A Mew EX with a lot of heads.
Conkeldurr! No, sorry, yes, Conkeldurr can.
Oh, true, weakness.
But no, not joking around. Pikachu's in and has taken some damage, so Resolute Heart is no longer in effect.
So interesting to see something like a, hey, you know what, let's just stack the damage on and just, we'll go back to turn though. But you alluded to it a little bit earlier, Amy. We do have Professor Turo scenario in here, so that does at least get to invalidate the last turn here.
There he is!
And there it goes, all those damage counters back to the side here, as it will just be Terapagos coming back up into the active here. The problem is, I do think we only play one of those Professor Turo scenario, and like you alluded to a little bit earlier as well, no Palpad, so that's the last time we've seen Professor Turo.
But it's okay, because Pikachu is back and ready to rumble. Resolute Heart is back online, and Pikachu can once again take a couple of hits before it's down and out.
I think one of the key things about this deck that I really am enjoying Marcel's play especially is the fact that Aurelion has this Iron Bundle, right? We could force this Mega Kangaskhan out, but there's still another one to deal with, right? Marcel never wants to put forward a single prizer, and honestly, probably would let go of the Munkidori before the Buffalon here, because the Buffalon is honestly the key engine, which is making this deck run as best as possible. But you can see at the front of the hand, Amy, that you know what they're looking for. They're looking for a penny to recycle that Bravery Charm, and there goes all of the hard work of last turn.
Oh, and another Kangaskhan just ready to rumble. We just need an energy. That's easy. There's plenty in the hand. And here's a Bravery Charm as well. You couldn't really ask for more. Now, the only thing is, if Aurelion just keeps putting the pressure on, is it going to be enough? Like, can we get another Kangaskhan ready? It takes a lot of energy attachments. 3 is a lot. So we can attach once per turn to any of our Pokemon, but only once. Do we have enough time?
Well, we could here, especially thanks to the Munkidori Adrenabrain damage here that we got before the penny lift, and that will actually be the knockout here. Marcel going to take some prize cards for the effort here. Now back on over to Aurelion's side, as there comes that Iron Bundle play that we alluded to a little bit earlier. But as you alluded to as well, Amy, no energy on that extra Mega Kangaskhan here. That would require benching Latias here. We're talking about Latias, same way that we're talking about Cornerstone Ogrepon EX, where the Curly Wall doesn't apply to Latias. That is a perfect target for Terapagos, for Lily's Clefairy EX, for Pikachu, that we can somehow find a way back into this game.
Here comes Buffalon in the active, one of those Pokemon that Marcel really does not want there. Now, Marcel does run some recursion. We do have 2 night stretchers, so Buffalon can jump back on the bench quite easily from the discard pile, but it's not a great effect. Marcel doesn't want that HP total going anywhere down from that 410. Yes, you heard me right if you have just tuned in. 410 HP on this Mega Kangaskhan EX with the Bravery Charm, but then we do have that one on the bench, which is just 300, which is good Pikachu numbers right here.
Still, though, I'm looking through the deck now, and the answer isn't jumping out at me, right? We have some energy in the deck, and I know that Nestball has been played, probably looking for that Pheasantipity, right? And we could potentially find a way to get Crispin this turn, but then we're going to bench lock ourselves, right? And according to Aurelion's list here, only plays 2 copies of the Area Zero Underdepths with no Stadium Sync Qianpao either, so we can't actually bump the Stadium. So whatever's coming down here is going to end up being stuck. Has to really think about it. If we want to at least get a hit here, okay, it is going to be the Crispin, though. We're going aggressive, Amy.
We could.
Tell me.
We could. Oh, I don't know. It's
so
a risky one. If we're willing to bet that giant hand doesn't have a penny in it, we could soul block and try and just slow attach the extra energy to this Ogopon so that we're able to knock out the Buffalon next turn. And because there's currently no Shaman on the bench, we can do some damage on the bench as well. Shaman came in great effect last battle, but Marcel's chosen not to bench it yet. So it might allude that, Marcel might have it in the prize cards. Obviously, we know he doesn't, but Aurelion might be thinking that.
Like the line as well, where we could torrential pump the Munkidori, also not affected by the Curly Wall as well. That's another piece of the puzzle that is technically taken care of here. But I think you're right, Amy. I think it might just be the Sob and kind of hope here. This is such a risky play when you really think about it, right? Because we're going to do this 20 damage with Sob. Now, if Marcel has penny in hand, we can Munkidori the damage back to Wellspring Mask Ogrepon and then take the knockout anyway. But it's actually going to do for nothing here because of the Curly Wall. So any other way could have been absolutely disastrous. But I think, Amy, I don't think we have penny in hand for once.
No, I think we might have got away with it. We might be able to do a torrential pump, but looking at the Curly Wall, the way it's worded says as long as you have at least one other Buffalon in play, all of your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. It doesn't stack, but it does increase the HP of the one on the bench as well. So I don't think the torrential pump is really going to be enough right now.
Can only grab the Munkidori, but that's it, right? And the Munkidori, well, yes, has been serving its purpose really well. That's not going to be enough to really get us there. So it is just going to be the pass here. And just remember, we are taking down on time as well. Aurelion has to win this game at least within 60 minutes to get us to a tie here. We are going to start powering up the Pikachu, though. So I'm wondering if this is just a continuous Sob block and then just say, you know what, I'll wait for you, or if we're going to play more aggressively soon.
Yeah, I think we have to start going with the aggression soon. Another prize, I'm trying to think of the prize race here. So if we take out the Munkidori with a torrential pump, does it give us the space then to be able to take 3 prize cards? 3 prize cards would have to be either one of the Mega Kangaskhan, and you're going to have to really go aggressive with that. Manage to not let your opponent penny, or do we they're the only prizes on the board. The 2 Bufalon and the Monkey Dory is going to be a tough order, but otherwise it's trying to battle through the Mega Kangaskhan, and it's tough to see where the line is.
And the thing is, Amy, right, like if you get through 1 Bufalon, there is recovery for said Bufalon. With 2 Night Stretchers in the list for Marcel here, so we have to figure out what exactly is going to be our best option. Aurelian, once again, has taken care of the first 2 prizes, but now we're back into the same predicament we were in game number 1, where the line is just not clear enough.
And because we've given so much time to Marcel, the second Kangaskhan is almost ready to go as well. So because we bought time, has it been almost a crutch? Has it been not as advantageous as we hoped? Because now both Kangaskhan are almost ready to go. Although Bufalon is stuck in the active for the moment, Aurelian really doesn't have anywhere to go from here other than maybe taking out the Monkey Dory.
And, we're talking about Torrential Pump so much, Amy. I mean, the Sparkling Crystal and the 1 copy of Water Energy's prize. So we're not even going to Torrential Pump this turn, or probably at all during this game, unless we can really at least find one of these knockouts on Mega Kangaskhan here. It's really hard to say, but it will be the Ultra Ball for the Noctowl to find Jewel Seeker here. It's going to be Crispin, but once again, when we don't even have the pieces for something like a Torrential Pump, now dare I ask if it's Pikachu time? Like, we just take out 1? It just doesn't feel good. No option here feels good.
I mean, it does mean there's no damage for Monkey Dory to sling back at Pikachu. Resolute Heart would stay in effect, so I don't dislike it as an option. I think it might be Pikachu time. Pikachu for 1 prize card doesn't feel good, but it does disable the Curly Wall, at least for now.
Also, kind of going into preventative measures as well, but I was about to say going to pluck the Super Rod, but the problem is we're about to get rid of some energy. Now, granted, we do play 2 copies of the Lightning, but that's our only metal energy. So if we were to actually Topaz Bolt this turn, that Lightning energy or the metal energy on the Pikachu is not going to come back for the rest of the game, unless we do play something like Night Stretcher, which we do have 1. But I don't know.
There's 1. Is it enough? We can tutor it. We do have Noctowl.
Sure.
So there's potential. There's potential here. There's maybe a line. Maybe we're in it still. Here's the Crispin. We're probably going to go to the Pikachu. It feels like it has to be Pikachu time at this stage. Surely it has to be Pikachu time. And then, yeah, it's just can Aurelian keep up the pace? I think that's the question afterwards is, can we just keep slinging back-to-back really powerful attacks, but we don't have the Turo. Pikachu lasts 1 extra turn, which is great, but is it going to be enough?
And honestly, after this Bufalon goes down, it goes straight back to Marcel's turn with this massive hand. You can only imagine that it's just going to be swinging for, using Boss's Orders and using the Rapid Fire combo, but it is going to be the Topaz Bolt that does take down 1 part of the Curly Wall. Wanted to go here, but there's that Night Stretcher that we alluded to. All of that effort and the Super Rod spent as well, Amy, to lose it there too. And like you were talking about, we have 2 Mega Kangaskhan's powered up here. So while, yes, we can absolutely survive this turn with, thanks to Resolute Heart, due to Mega Kangaskhan's Rapid Fire combo, that Pikachu's staying here no matter what.
Oh yeah. Now, thankfully, we don't have a penny in Marcel's hand, and Aurelian does only need to take out 1 Mega Kangaskhan to seal the win on this. So if some damage can stick around long enough, Marcel needs to take 2 more sets of 2 prize cards, right? So even if we take out this Pikachu, if we leave this Kangaskhan damage and Marcel can't penny it, then actually Aurelian becomes into a winning position. There's a win on the horizon there. There is an opportunity. There's a chance. But is Aurelian brave enough to take that chance of allowing Marcel to take more prize cards? Are they going to have the energy? Are they going to have the attachments? Because Pikachu surely isn't attacking again. We don't have the Water Energy. We don't have the Sparkling Crystal. We can allow Ogerpon to do some damage.
This is interesting, Amy, because I'm thinking along the lines of, is there a way that we can keep this Pikachu kind of around here, where Monkey Dory can go on ahead and finish it off, and then we could go for something like a Rapid Fire combo, flip aheads onto a 2 prize Pokemon, and there's the game right then and there. It's really hard to say, but it's yeah, I mean, there's nothing else you can do, right?
The Monkey Dory's too scary. You don't want to leave damage and then potentially take some prize cards. You either have to do little damage by kind of using Fan Rotom, but then you need another attack for the Pikachu for the finisher. It's the only way that you'd be able to do it without giving up 4 prize cards, because you need to leave a single prize in the active, because Pikachu would go down. And unfortunately, here comes, wow, Boss's Orders to take out Pikachu. I feel like this is a bit over the top, but we just need to do 10 damage.
Here, potentially the Academy at Night might be played here to potentially do something like, hey, if you have 1 copy of something like a Iono Judge in hand, maybe I'll just throw something to the top like my 2nd copy of Boss's Orders, or maybe this penny that we have in hand, but it is going to be the Academy at Night just to bump the Area 0 under depths, but as being used here, just going to try and recycle the penny just in case something happens here. Aurelian so much on the back foot here. Is the play just finding Blood Moon Ursaluna and then just hoping you can't do anything else? You have another Area 0 in hand, I believe, and you have Pheasantipity for the draw to flip the script here, and you do have at least a Noctowl. You can find the pieces that you need, but I don't know, Amy, you gotta take 3. You gotta take out a Mega Kangaskhan right now, but the Curly Wall, the Bravery Charm, it's just too big.
Oh. It's disheartening because there's so much potential for Aurelian's deck. It's so flexible in so many ways, but it becomes inflexible when we have 410 HP, which just feels like an immovable object, right, in this instance. And because Marcel has done an absolutely exceptional deck building bonanza here and just built this so strong that the Monkey Dory just gives you that insurance policy on Pokemon like Pikachu is really devastating.
I think our only line is find a way to gust up the Monkey Dory or one of the Bufalons and go for a Blood Moon and hoping that there's no damage counters onto the bench to make it happen here. I don't even know what we're fezzing for, Amy. It could be anything.
Pheasantipity will allow us to draw 3 cards, and so Knockout was taken last turn. Let's see if they're going to make a difference and truly flip the script, but unfortunately it doesn't really look like there's much there. There is the Blood Moon Ursaluna, but I'm not sure it's going to make a difference because we'd be taking 1 prize card and it's just not enough. Where are the other 2 coming from? We have to battle through a Mega Kangaskhan no matter what.
Still though, and even Briar in play too. I mean, has Briar here, but there's no other Pokemon that would give us 2 prizes and then some, right? We got rid of the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon a little bit early here, but we are seeing the final Jewel Seeker here for the counter catcher. We could use Briar now and take 1 and then kind of feign the Boss's Orders. That could be something, right? But for what I know, I don't see another Boss's Orders in the deck here. It really would just have to be a line that I'm just not seeing at this point.
We have the energy switch. We can switch on to Terrapagos and retreat into that, and then we can use the Briar, but we'd need to be able to boss first, or, well, we counter catcher the Bufalon or Monkey Dory.
Right?
Surely I don't know. Yeah, we the Bufalon. And then, do we Briar this turn, or do we Briar next? We Briar now! We Briar now!
Dare I say,
2 prize cards.
It might just come down to the coin flips on the Rapid Fire combo here.
It might.
It's getting close, but the Boss's Orders was taken off the prize cards, Amy. So wait, but still, is it just going to be the penny again? It will be the Blood Moon for the final attack here. Aurelian actually had the pieces at the end to use the Briar to get Boss's Orders, only if we were able to make it to next turn. But unfortunately for Aurelian, no next turn for you. But Marcel going to take it with a new rendition of Mega Kangaskhan, one that is impossible to break through.
I love it. Marcel is done running errands. They've mopped up and they're on to the next round. The win and in, rather successful.
Feels really good for Marcel looking back, right? And this goes to show once again a kind of talking point that I was talking about, Terra Box has been kind of this, you have a deck in front of me, I have an answer. No matter which, Pokemon I have, I can find a way using my Terra Pokemon to have an answer. It's hard to have an answer to Curly Wall Mega Kangaskhan, Amy. I mean, it's just too big. The amount of pennies that it plays, the Bravery Charms, right? And even Monkey Dory, once again, coming into the fray here, sending this damage back. While it seems kind of obvious, hey, we could just swing for 300 on Pikachu. What about the Curly Walls? What about the Bravery Charms? It's just not so simple, especially when Monkey Dory breaking apart that Resolute Heart.
Yeah, and we saw it used to great effect as we kept attempting in this game one to take down a Kangaskhan, but it just kept being pennied up. Aurelion had no wiggle room whatsoever. Went one up to Marcel, straight back in to the fray. Aurelion did manage to take 2 prize cards early on, and it really was that moment that made us realize that maybe there was some wiggle room. After all, Aurelion just needed to crack that armor early, and then it all started to come together for them with some, really powerful plays in the end. We used the Pikachu with the Turo to great effect, but then the boss on the Pikachu just began to sing the end for Aurelion as Marcel was able to just catch up, keep going, keep the pressure on, and in the end, it was just down to a boss's orders that made that moment shine. The penny in with the Blood Moon Ursaluna, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, that's, once again, we're talking about adaptations we're making from last week to this week. That's definitely got to be one of the bigger ones, right? Where we're just playing Mega Kangaskhan just as a giant wall, where it's so impossible to break through, where it kind of feels like that. And honestly, great showing, great adaptation from Marcel. Once again, winning in, so we'll see that deck going into our phase 2, which is super exciting. Can you believe it? We're already talking about phase 2. I feel like the day just got started here. But honestly, what has been just so fun to see, like we've been alluding to, the lounge here. Like, did you change things? Did you not change things? Are you just playing the same deck with 1 card difference? It goes to show, things don't stay the same here.
No, absolutely. Even in 6 days' time, things have changed so much that we're now seeing a whole new deck archetype that we didn't get to feature last weekend, that we finally got to see, and in great effect. There aren't many fighting types in the format, so there aren't many things are going to hit for weakness realistically. Maybe with people thinking the Hoopa EX weren't that useful last week, maybe they've taken them out, and maybe that's why our Mega Kangaskhan has actually come to the forefront for this event, even though maybe it wasn't Lille. Maybe we just didn't notice it. Maybe it flew under the radar, and today it's come through and already charging towards success. Not only proving that it's a powerful draw engine, but also proving that it's got the attacks to back it up too. It's got everything.
And Shay and I were casting Gabriel Fernandez last week, top 8 with Zoroark and this Hoopa, right? And I was even wrong when I was saying, yeah, we're just going to take out the Hoopa. We definitely don't need it this week. Turns out we definitely needed Hoopa EX this week. If we're at least on Aurelion's side, but of course still standing strong at a 5-1 record now. Still not too bad, right? You can always just
not shabby, not just 5-1.
Not just 5-1, not the worst thing in the world, but still obviously a very strong chance at that phase number 2. Things are looking real good though. Honestly, I'm loving the diversity of decks that we've gotten on stream so far. We've gotten, at least for me, the last 2 rounds, I've gotten Ethan's Typhlosion and Zoroark, Terra Box, and now Mega Kangaskhan with the Curly Wall.
It's a really open format right now.
Yes, I agree.
Practically anything can do well. If you hit the right matchups, if you have the right deck diversity, if you have played to your outs. Sometimes it is okay, right? I'm playing a little bit of matchup roulette here. I don't really want to see, in my case, it was God of War last weekend. But everyone will have that deck. Yeah. There is no deck in format that can answer everything. And that's good. We want that diversity. We want to be able to see some tussles. We want back and forth. And honestly, I think it's a beautiful format for that. Feels like anyone can bring their pet deck and do really well. It feels like if you've owned something, if you've mastered a deck, if you've brought it strength through strength, if you're testing at cups, challenges, locals, why not bring it here?
Totally makes sense. And honestly, I want to hear from the man himself on why you brought it here. We've got Alex standing by with an interview with our last round's winner.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, I'm very, very pleased to have here our winner of our Swiss round 6. Marcel, congratulations. How are you feeling after that?
Hi, ich fühle mich sehr gut, war aber auch recht nervös vor dem Spiel.
So he said that he's feeling really good, but he's also feeling very nervous about being on stream and playing in front of so many people.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time on stream, so hopefully it's been a really fun experience. I mean, it's great to win as well. Just tell me a little bit about your matchup. How did you feel going into Terra Box?
Terra Box ist tatsächlich sehr favored für uns, also ich kann das fast gar nicht verlieren eigentlich. Wenn die nicht dagegen Tech-Karten spielen, gewinnen wir das einfach eigentlich.
Okay, so he's saying that against Terra Box, he's feeling really comfortable with his tech choice, and yeah, so if they don't play any fancy tech cards, he will probably have a good time against it.
Yeah, we saw it on the stream. That was very dominating with the Bufalon and the Curly Wall ability, so it looked very, very easy almost. I mean, this is, like you said, first time on stream, first time sort of being in this kind of environment. How are you feeling? How long have you been playing Pokemon, actually?
Ich spiele jetzt 1 Jahr ungefähr, seit der Dortmund Regional letztes Jahr, so in dem Dreh.
Okay, so he's playing for about 1 year, starting playing at the Dortmund Regional last year, so already made on stage and he's really glad about it.
Yeah, and in fantastic position that you've got 5 wins, 1 tie. That means you are already qualified for phase 2. I mean, it's a great testament to anyone new who's just like starting to play the game. It's like a good example of you being able to play. So it's really amazing. It's just great to have you on stream. And I wish you all the best. We just wanted to have a quick catch up. Congratulations. Go enjoy the rest of it, and good luck for your rest of your matches as well. Thank you very much for showcasing your deck on stream.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's it.
Wow, thanks so much, Alex. That was fantastic to hear all about the deck. I'm honestly so thrilled that we got to feature that one. We're back on the desk. My name's Amy Worsley. This is Emily Foreman. And of course, we are here just after our round 6 already.
This day's flown by. I think one of the things I wanted to point out is that the game is constantly growing. I mean, 501 after playing for just a year, right? Like sometimes people just find their decks, they really click with it, but it's also the amount of effort you put in, right? Just a year going 501. Pretty nice. So once again, always a big shout out. Go to your local Pokemon League. It's a good place to go.
Absolutely. You can really ask for more. Friends, fun, gaming, like gaming. Realistically, what got us all here? What made us these fabulous friends? Pokemon. We all have this common interest and it's flourished. And I'm honestly grateful to see that our events keep growing and growing and allowing this sort of success, these wonderful hero stories that we're able to come out with. We get to meet new friends, we see new faces on stream and in the venue for all of those who are out there. It's honestly pretty magical.
And to kind of extend on that as well, because we know that this has been a double regional weekend, right? And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I believe 13 countries in cut, 12 to 13 countries in cut last weekend at Lille countries. That's a lot of people.
A lot.
So honestly, it's been just so fun being here in Europe. It's so fun to just see people over here from NA, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, what are you doing here? But honestly, people live and breathe Pokemon, right? Some people just travel to go to every single regional. Brisbane also happening this weekend as well. So I know a lot of people heading on over to Australia too. And that's the best part of Pokemon. You can go all around the world and still find somebody, even if you don't speak the same language. You just play Pokemon cards together. That's a language in of itself.
Yeah, it brings us all together no matter what. We really do live in a Pokemon world. They said it first, and I'll repeat it again. So it's one of those magical things that just allows us to travel. I think whenever I go on vacation, I always see if there's a Pokemon League. I always I wonder if I can make it to a Pokemon League. Now, I always take my decks with me, and it's nice just to go along and see what's happening around the world, what people are bringing, and kind of what's cooking over there as well. Because I always see a diverse meta between even just the US and Europe. There's a lot of meta diversity and changes that happen, even just through, like, let's talk Milwaukee through Lille. There were so many deck differences, even though, again, those were quite close together, and yet there was still so much variance.
Yeah, honestly, it always has felt like EU and NA just choose to kind of go different pools, right? Especially because Charizard had this big resurgence with Jackson Ford, and then all of a sudden over here is like, we're still playing God of course. Hey, that's fine. You just won't hit Charizard. It's all good, right? But that's always been kind of the fun thing, especially for us as casters when we're studying for these regionals, right? I look at both regions, right? Can one region affect how the other's meta share is really going? And that's what makes it very interesting to be kind of a student of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we really enjoy as part of this game as well, is all of those analytical elements as well. But speaking of analytical elements and how the game is played, we've got a little introduction to some of the newer rules that we're experiencing this season.
Hi buddies, my name is Amy and I'm here to talk about time. Unlike Dialga, we can't control it, so there have been some changes to the time rulings in the trading card game. Previous to this season, the rules went as follows. When time is up, each player gets 2 additional turns, including the turn they were in when time was called. We call this turns, where the current turn was turn 0 and then moves into 1, 2, and 3. If the game still has no resolution, the game is a tie. In the new system, we only have 2 turns total to try and resolve the game. So the player whose turn it is when the clock hits 50 minutes is turn 0, the next player gets 1 final turn. If the game has still not been resolved in this time, the game ends in a tie. Since our championship events are played in best of 3, this tie can result in a player winning overall, if they had won a previous game and the other player had not. This will change the landscape of our events this season, as time restraints are even tighter than they used to be. Fitting 3 games of Pokemon trading card game into 50 minutes is one of the biggest challenges of competitive play, and now that time limit is more strict than ever before. Competitors will have to train hard to keep in these new time restraints. Efficiency is key. The new rule is crucial to keeping the tournament running on schedule. With events exceeding 2,000 competitors, it's an ever-expanding challenge to manage time restraints. It can get complicated, from time extensions to sheer amount of people who need to make their way to their next match. Everything takes time, and there's only so much in the day. And so with that, I'm out of time. So it's your turn, and if we don't have a resolution, it's a tie. Oh wait, this isn't a game. Okay, bye.
I went to my first tournament in 2009, and I don't remember exactly anymore, but I was just really into the game. I was playing with my brother, and I think we saw like an advertisement for the German Nationals, and we're like, let's try to win this. And yeah, then we went to the Nationals, and really enjoyed it. So kept going. My favorite deck of all time was probably Cyclone Giratina from 2015-16, because it was the first deck I really had success with competitively, and it was also a deck which wasn't very popular before I played it, and then got very popular, so it's always going to be like very special for me. I still really enjoy going to tournaments, just playing every now and then, and so just meeting friends, playing some Pokemon, is basically my motivation now. I wouldn't really say idle, but I'm really looking up to, of course, Todd and Azul, which are 2 best players in the world right now, and it's just so consistent, and I was just also innovating the decks and always coming up with great new ideas, and that's definitely inspires me to also maybe still try.